What's going on? Hello, 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 hello. What's going on? Let's have fun tonight. What's going on? Shout out to all four of you watching me right now. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Do me a favor if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hit the like button. Okay. Hey, Lady Navoa. She says, movie night. Stop by to show some. Keep doing what you're doing. Date night. That's awesome. Isabel, interesting topic. Good to see you. Good to see you. So if you're here, do me a favor. Hit that like. I don't care if you're watching, if you're a replay gang, if you're live stream gang, any one of it is fine with me. As long as you make sure you come back, you always come back and you make sure you consume this content. Okay, I'm doing it for you. Shout out to you. Shout out to the two people that just came in. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, share it, grab the link to this video and share it. Send it literally manually to minimum of 3 people. Okay, minimum of 3 people, especially if you know that they have children that are about to come into this dating scene, especially if you are in the dating scene right now, which is what I'm hearing is that it's a war zone, right? So do me a favor, just go ahead and share, because we have at least today, I have at least 6 reasons why the dating scene is probably toasting you up right now. Okay, I have 6 reasons, and if you have the reasons, then maybe you can do something about it. But most people that I talk to about this, they seem to be confused. Okay, as a matter of fact, just before I came on today, I decided to start a room on Clubhouse and just talk to a few people. Only one person came in, and this person was an interesting person. Okay, uh, he was an interesting person, and he shared some things that will make the 7th reason. Okay, hey, 7 is the perfect number, right? Um, will make the 7th reason. Excuse me. Why the dating scene is probably hard right now. He gave me a reason, but the reason that he gave me, I'm going to destroy that completely. So yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and let's just get into this, shall we? All right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome back. Hey, Bhagavad. Shout out to you, Bhagavad, Isabel, Lady Navoa. You guys are the best. Thank you for always coming here to show love to the content. I appreciate you. I want you to know that. Let's see. Yeah, we have an interesting topic to cover today. Even if you're married, you need to know this stuff, okay? Uh, because honestly, they don't know what they're doing. Okay, they don't know what they're doing. Now I want to acknowledge one thing first. First and foremost, first of all, can you hear me? If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know. If it's too low, let me know. Let's make sure that the sound is good. Just let me know in the chat really quickly if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay. Excuse me. um there, there was a video I dropped this afternoon. Make sure you watch it. It's about uh, who should love who more in a relationship, in a marriage. Should the husband love the wife more? It's an interesting take that I want you to watch, just in case you haven't seen it yet. Let me acknowledge something. The first thing I want to acknowledge is, yes, the dating scene is catastrophic right now. Okay, but that's what happens when civilization has its upsides, but it has its downsides. And we're going to spell all of that out today. Okay, I said why dating is so hard in 2022, and beyond. That's what the X is for. Okay, why is dating so hard right now? This is some of the things you have to pay attention to. If you're married and you're in a situation that you don't really like, make sure that leaving your marriage is the last resort, unless you and your children in harm's way of any sort. Okay, but if it's just emotional issues, a disconnect, if it's not just, that's a lot by the way, but if it's those kind of things, there's a good chance that you're probably better off, working on what you got, you know, edifying what you got, put some work into it, don't be so quick to exit. Talk to someone first, talk to counsel, wise counsel, right? Excuse me, I'm a little tired, but we're gonna do this today. Okay, we're gonna get this done today. Okay, so I want to acknowledge first of all that yes, the dating scene is a complete disaster right now. Okay, and I'm speaking from somebody. I've been out of dating scene for officially for 15 years. So just being able to observe from the sidelines, can you imagine, right? Can you imagine, right? So there's actually a video that I posted on my wall on my feed on Instagram, that about 5 6 different ladies were basically saying they would rather be with a sugar daddy who would give them $20,000 a month, every single month, rather than being with getting married to a dude who is making $90,000 per year. Now, my first question is, who are these people? I don't know these people, right? Those kind of people are not in my circle. It's really that simple. But I also want to acknowledge that they do exist, obviously, and there's probably a little bit more than necessary of those kind of people that you'll find on the dating scene. What is the dating scene exactly? For the most part, right now we're talking about the apps, right? Gone are those days when you can just walk by. Catcall these days is considered by a lot of people an harassment. Of course, that depends on how you do it. Okay, it depends on who you are too, right? Depends on a few factors. But what people consider dating scene these days, what they're talking about is basically the DMs, the Instagram, right? Talking stages. That's what they're talking about, right? And that's part of the problems, because as human beings, we're social beings, we're emotional beings, right? So it's no wonder to me why people are struggling with dating if they're more comfortable with the keyboards than in real life. All right, do me a favor. Let's get some more people in here. All you have to do is click the like button. Just hit the like button. Okay. But that's what we're dealing with in this time and age. Okay. Isabel says, thanks for the clip earlier. I sent it to my husband. Awesome. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. The dating scene is basically the apps. Everybody's hanging out on their phone, and they're calling it the dating scene. They're getting ghosted after 1 or 2 conversations, and they're calling it's hard. Is that hard? Hell yeah, it's hard. I have to acknowledge that that's hard, right? Can you imagine having a conversation that you really feel like everything went well, right? And then the person never picks up the phone. And this is happening on a daily basis, on a regular basis, from time to time. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, it's happening, right? It's only natural that at some point you're going to throw your hands in the air and be like, I'm giving up. Like it's a wrap. So I understand. Okay, I understand. Nonetheless, some people are creating success. Okay? Some people are having success. As hard as that may sound.
Stop the cap.
Yes, some people are creating success. What is it that they're doing? Or maybe more importantly, who is it that they are? Why are they creating success? All right. So yeah, I'm going to give you at least 7 reasons why the dating scene is hard today. And then we'll see if we can talk about how to mitigate it. In order to mitigate the risk of the dating scene today, in a holistic way, uh, we're going to need to unpack your own personal story, and I can't do that on this stages. Okay, I can't do that publicly, right? Even if you called in, I couldn't, right? Because there's only so much I would want you to share about your personal life, because that's precisely what we're talking about, packaging. I don't want you to put stuff out there, right? That's going to come back and bite you in the butt, even though you were trying to be open, right? There, easy. You don't have to share everything to the public platform, okay? You have to be careful with that, okay? There's a place and time for everything, so you have to be careful with that. So yes, so this gentleman that I called earlier, before I'm gonna make it the last. Maybe I should make it last. Um, then there's another story that I also want to share with you. Let's start with the story. How about that? It's a story that I want to share with you. Let's start with that. There you go. Okay. And then also Baba Ishawuru. What's his real name? I keep forgetting. The guy who owns Mount Zion that used to do movies back in the 90s. What's his real name? Auntie Gloria's husband. What's his real name? I keep forgetting. I think we'll find out in a second. It's on the clip from. It's on this thing here. Okay, let me just click from here. There you go. So it's on lindaekg.com. Oh, there you go. Mike Bamiloye. Duh, I could just wait and see, right? Mike Bamiloye, right? This man right here. Okay, so maybe we're gonna have like 8 reasons. Maybe some of the reasons are gonna be interwoven with each other. Okay, this gentleman right here, we grew up on his movies. If you were raised in Nigeria in the 90s, you know, Ayamatanga. Anybody know what that is? If you don't know what that is, forget about it. If you don't get it, forget about it. All right. What did he say? He said, "Don't ever advise single ladies not to respect the marriage institution." He's telling broken marriages. Okay. This is one of the reasons right here. Okay, let me just go ahead and tell you straight. Reason number one. Reason number one is the loud minority that have gone through terrible experiences. They may not know it. It's not necessarily about blaming them. It's only natural that the negative news travel faster than anything else. Okay, they travel faster and wider. Okay, what tends to happen, naturally speaking, when people come out of a broken marriage is that they try to help other people and they tell them everything that's wrong with the idea of a marriage. Okay, I've seen this example way too many times. People will get married and then, they get divorced at 29, 30, and they say, you know what, I should have waited. And then what do? They turn around, they start advising a bunch of people to wait until they're 35 and 40, or to not even think about it. They say that, or they say they have different talking points. Talking points like everyone don't have to be married. Okay? There's a problem with that. The problem is not the surface. By default, that statement is correct. Everyone doesn't have to be married. Okay? That statement is correct by itself. All by itself. In its holiness, that statement is correct by itself. It is very true that everyone does not have to be married ever. It's not mandatory. It's not compulsory. As a matter of fact, there's certain type of people I would advise to stay away from marriage forever. Okay? But there's a problem. It's really not that simple. It's really not that simple. What is the source of the statement? If we dig a little bit extra deeper, I don't know what the source is. I'm just asking, right? What is the source? Now, if I were to bet, I'm willing to bet that a lot of it is coming from this space that, frame of reference. It's coming from a place that maybe it's because I got married too early, right? So they go out there, they try to save other people. And what do? They cast fear. Nothing good come out of fear. There are different types of fear. There's the fear that you have of your parents. that makes you kind of like stand on a straight line, that makes you, try your best to do the right thing. I'm not talking about that kind of fear. I'm talking about fear of making a move. I'm talking about fear of jumping off the cliff. When you and I know that the only way to succeed in life is at some point you're going to have to jump off the cliff. Yeah. Salute, Sahil. Good to see you, sir. All right? That's the only way to succeed in life. At some point, you're going to have to jump off a cliff. It's always a move of faith. Fear versus faith, right? So we have enough people that are going through bad experiences and they're coming out and they're saying things like, they're saying things that are very correct on the surface, but they create terrible effects on the back end, behind the scenes. That's one of the reasons why dating is hard. Everyone has their guards up, naturally so. They're trying to protect themselves. The woman is trying to protect herself. The man is trying to protect. It's overwhelming information. It's information overload. That's your number one reason right there. Information overload. Naturally, the more you know, the more afraid you are. Okay? The older you get, the more you put your guard up, naturally so. It makes sense. It makes absolute sense. You're not wrong for putting up all these guards. Sometimes they look like, how many videos of red flags have you watched? Red flag. How many videos dedicated to the red flags you should watch out for? How many of them have you watched? Do you realize that at some point that watching so many videos about red flag is going to turn you to a red flag? Do you realize that? Or you didn't know that? Well, now you know. Okay? So Baba Bamiloye has something to say. He said, if you've gone through a broken marriage, it's not your fault. Listen, life happens. But please, if you've got a broken marriage, don't ever advise single ladies not to respect the marriage institution. So he's actually specific. He didn't say don't advise them. It's nothing wrong. You get advice from anyone. You get advice from a dog, a donkey, right? But particularly, don't come out and say, I shouldn't have been married so early, right? That has nothing to do with nothing. People get married at 35, 40, they still have to go through the same struggles. You start at ground zero like everybody else. Literally. Okay? Like literally. Oh yeah, maybe you're a little matured. Maybe it can help a little something. The keyword is maybe. Most people, they can't. Okay? The truth is that yes, you do have certain experiences as a man or woman of a certain age. Hopefully, we would hope, right? Logically speaking, that you've learned some things about life. You can handle marriage a little bit better right now. Here's a problem. The problem is that we're talking about something that's almost 100% driven by your emotions and another human being's emotions. Right? So, who's to say? Who knows, right? So maybe not. Maybe not. Just as much chances. If I was to bet, I don't care if you're 55 before you get married, you're starting from ground zero. If not worse, because of all these guards that you have up right now, you're going to have to calm down because vulnerability is a big part of the whole game. A healthy level of vulnerability on both parts is a big part of it. And you can't be operating in fear and be vulnerable at the same time. It's like, they're like mutually exclusive in a lot of ways. There are nuances. Okay? So that's the first one right there, and I thought I would share that with you. Now, I want to do another session on the 4 social quadrants of dating. This is your second reason why people are struggling with dating. People are really confused with, let me put that here. Game, that's one quadrant. Lame, it's another quadrant. Good, it's another quadrant. I'm going to do a whole session on this. And bad, it's another quadrant, right? So people, they pick a cross section of either a good guy who has good game or a good guy who has bad game. A lot of people that are having troubles with dating, I find that a lot of time they are good guys who have bad game. As a matter of fact, they will even argue with you that there's no such thing as game. That why are we playing games? It's like, why do we play sports? Hmm. Really? It's part of life. Why do we play in the game of life? It's part of life. Skill set is required. That's what it means. The fact that we call it game doesn't mean that you're playing games with people's life. No, it means you understand that this is called life and there are skill sets that are required, especially if you notice that the result you're creating is not desirable. Listen, if you're happy being single, this is not for you, right? But if you know that the result you're creating is undesirable, you got to pay attention, right? So, what I find is that a lot of good girls lack game, right? And a lot of time, bad people, they have good game. And then what does that look like? It looks like life is unfair. That's what it looks like. And people struggle with that. And it doesn't make sense to them because they were always taught that all you had to do is be in just one corner of this quadrant, the good person. Just be a good person, that's all it takes. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's not gonna work. There's an active marketplace and there's competition. It doesn't matter if you've been married for 30 years or 35 years. There's an active marketplace and there's competition. Okay? There's a saying that one man's trash is another man's treasure. You ever heard that before? Well, we talked about that on the last session quite a bit, right? Yeah. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And when another man sees it as treasure, suddenly your attraction level towards what you didn't like before start to grow, and you're like, you start to feel some tinglings in your mind, like maybe I'm not done, right? That's how the human brain works. But now you know better. Don't wait until you've lost it before you start to appreciate what you've got. We're going to talk about four social quadrants of dating a little bit more. And it's not just dating, it's relationships and in marriage. You need game in marriage as well, if not more so. Okay. So I received this and I'm going to go through this with you. And then I went and dug up some more responses to this type of similar questions on forums and stuff like that. And I figured we should go through it together. This story. So, what's the first reason? We have first reason. What was that? A lot of people with bad experiences are basically advising people against marriage. And, you know, people naturally want companionship. Remember this? Let me show this. I always have to remind you this. Number 4, most human beings, I'm saying most because I just want to be safe. I really mean all, to be honest with you. Most human beings, one of the 6 human needs is connection. Precisely the in love connection. Not love as a duty and responsibility. Feeling like somebody is all the way in love with you. That feeling that you feel connected to a person in a romantic way. I really want to say all, but let me stay on the safe side since we don't know everything, right? Then maybe there's a minority out there that don't care for love and connection, right? Maybe. I don't know any personally. Okay? Anyway, so remember that, okay? So let's go back to this story right here. So we have number 1. Somebody taking notes real quickly. We have number 1, what? Number 1 is a lot of people advising people against marriage. We all need love and connection. Some people say, why do you have to deal with the state? Why are we talking about state? You don't have to deal with the state. Well, what I'm saying is that you as a regular human being, you have a need of love and connection. Precisely the in-love experience, as in the temporary feeling that somebody actually like you, that they like you at that level, right? I'm not talking about the duty and responsibility yet. Okay, we're talking about they just like you, just because they like you in a romantic way. Okay, We all have, most of us have a need of that. Well, okay, maybe we don't have the need of it. We enjoy it when somebody likes you at that level, right? There's no need to cap about that. It's just the reality. Okay. So, number one, why don't we do this? Let's make sure we're taking note. What is number one? Yeah, somebody is helping me here. Leila, hi Leila. She said Eros love. Yes, particularly Eros love. Now, I need to study more of how they group the Eros love and all those other different type of love. I haven't really paid much attention to, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so people with loudest, okay, the loudest minority are people coming out of broken marriages. All right, so naturally they become the loudest noise. So I'm gonna just pin that and use that. There you go. This is number one right here. The loudest minority advice are people coming out of broken marriages. I said broke marriages. Oh Lord. Let's see. Yeah, we're just gonna manage it like that. Oh wait, 1 second. I can do it this way. Yep, can do it better. Nǹkan tí ó bá ti ní etí àtẹnu kò kí ń gbọ́n jù èèyàn lọ. Anybody know what I just said? All right, here you have it. Okay, we can use a better one. All right, loudest minority advice are people coming out of broken marriages. That's number one. Number two, let's see here. Hey, D'Souza, gotcha. No problem. Get that money. Keep your eyes on the bag. Okay. We already blocked that person. All right. She said, "I want bless the CEO." Come on. Yeah. So number two. What's number two reason? Number two reason we got that from lack of game. Okay, on all sides. Okay, ladies, you do need game. Okay, and I think I spoke about it yesterday. It's basically is learning how to engage the power in your femininity. I think there was one more something. There's something one more. There's power in it, and if you know how to use it, you can capture and listen. I hate to use the word capture. His balls are yours anytime, But a lot of people want to play the game of right and wrong. A lot of people want to play the game of it's not fair. Why should I be the one to doing that all the time? And then, there's an active marketplace. There's always somebody willing to do that on behalf of you and then take all the benefits. So lack of game, people not understanding the 4 social quadrants of game in dating, relationships, and marriage. So we got 2. Okay, so let's see if we can get into the 3. Maybe in this story we can get into 3. Why is dating so hard for a nice, hardworking, caring, and kind man? Okay, so this sounds like it's going to be number 2. Maybe that's why I came up with it in the first place. Can anyone explain? I'm male, 27. I have an amazing job at VP. I don't think this was an email. I think this is probably from Reddit or something. I have an amazing job at VP as VP of software. There's a lot of them. 6 figures, multiple 6 figures. Good guys. But when they say 2 or 3 sentences, everything is dry. Everything gets dry. That's what the ladies are saying. I consider myself pretty good looking guy. Yeah, a lot of them are handsome, man. That's why when people say, so you trying to say looks doesn't matter, like, look, majority of people complaining about this stuff, it's not even people with, it's not people that are challenged when it comes to looks. A lot of them are handsome men, good looking women, beautiful, pretty ladies, sexy as hell. But crickets. I consider myself pretty good looking guy. I've been on Inge for a couple of months. I'm getting regular matches here and there. What is he talking about? Matches here and there? What is that? An app. It's not out there. It's not out there. It's not dealing with people. Social game. Lack of game. He's comfortable behind the keyboards. Okay? He can curse people out behind the keyboards. He can talk a good game on keyboard. But when he's in real life with a whole human being, a fine woman, so what does he do? He says, nothing is going on out there. He gets comfortable, he sits in his house, he watches porn, and, take care of himself, get on the app, match a few people, and then he's playing the safe game. He's playing it safe. Social issues, still number 2. Okay? So it's not a matter of fault, it's just something to be aware of, right? It's not a matter of you have to be blamed for this or I'm blaming the generation. I'm saying these are real issues, okay? These are real issues. You're a human being. Everything you do is coming out of habits. For every action you take, you're building bad habits or good habits, and some things are just going to become a monster for you. A lot of people were doing that for years, and then next thing, what happened? The pandemic made things worse. Everybody was inside for another 18 months or so. So I understand it, but it's time that we face it squarely. We have to face our fears, right? I try to ask things from their profile to start up conversation. All right, so first key thing here. Don't do conversations online. Okay? There's nothing wrong with using the app, but the only thing you should be doing on an app is picking interest. PIQUE, picking interest. That's all you should be doing. After picking interest, seeing there's interest, what's an interest? A match. Hey, when is a good time? When can we get together? Can we grab coffee together? Oh no, let's talk a little bit. So I'm like, oh yeah, sure, let's jump on the phone. Let's talk on the phone. You don't chat back and forth in the DMs. That's for little babies, kids, 18, 17 years old, 16 years old. Even they know better. Get the conversation offline as soon as you can. If they're not willing to do that, there's no interest. They're not interested in taking anything further. Don't waste your time. If there's a match, that's more than enough interest to ask a woman out for coffee. There's nothing wrong with a little back and forth, but if it doesn't come off as natural, you're already wasting your time. If you're already overthinking it, like what's a good sentence to get her talking? If you're thinking that way already, it's dead on arrival. So to me, I can see where this is going already. I try. It's not even confidence in that. I'm picking on his words. I get that, granted, but nonetheless, it speaks volume. I try to ask things from their profile. So you go in there. So some game, what do you call it? Game teacher, dating coaches told you, look for stuff in their profile. Look for something you can relate with. There's nothing wrong with that, but it still has to be natural. Like it has to be authentic. Maybe you actually naturally you go to people's profile, right? You see something interesting, like, oh, that's interesting. I used to do that, so it has to be natural. Listen, if it's not natural, they can tell. Listen, as human beings, we have incredible radar for what? For bullshit. We can smell it. Even when you're apart, like you never met each other before, you can just tell. That's why you want to make sure it's a lot of practice so that your natural self can come through the skill set you're building. A lot of problems that people they read too many textbooks and then they try to copy paste somebody else's example and they never really internalized what they're learning. That's why practice is necessary. Failing multiple times is necessary so that your true self can come through. In addition to the fact that you have some skills. Okay? We chat constantly, but all of a sudden I get ghosted. Yeah, because you're talking too much. You talk yourself out of the pee. Talk too much. That's why. There's a lot of reasons I'm saying already. It's a lot of reasons, but we'll see. Let's see. Meaning what exactly? Because I'm lost in that regard. Well, what did I say? Did I say something? I don't. If I can say COVID influenced this. Well, a lot of people were already struggling before COVID. It actually absolutely escalated a lot of the issues. Absolutely. It's like a multiplier to what was already there, right? In life, there's always something that's like, it's a multiplier. It affected a lot of marriages, affected a lot of single people, went to depression during that period of time because at least they could get out on weekends before they could go to happy hour after hour. Then suddenly they couldn't go anywhere anymore. There's some data out there, but you know me about data. I don't play with data that much. Overthinking can't be helped sometimes. Yes, it's natural. Yeah, absolutely. I've said that a few times. It's naturally so. The older you get, the more you know. Information overload I mentioned earlier. Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons. Let's just call it number 3. Information overload. Right? It's only natural. That's why any advice that's given to you in the form of an extreme or absolutes is bad because there's a downside to everything. Right? But when you think of it as absolute, you're not going to see it coming, right? So let's just say information overload is a big part of it, right? Okay. But, like I said, the pandemic is not the seed. It's not a seed reason. It's not a root cause of any type. It was a multiplier of things that were already there before. People were already lame and socially awkward because of technology. They hide behind keyboards. They're more comfortable with conversations behind keyboard than actually get out there and toast a woman. Like, back in days, like actually toast a woman. Like, what's your name? Right? What happened to the good old I love you? I know it's kind of early for a lot of Nigerian guys, but damn, like, what happened to the confidence? Right? Now they'll rather hang out online and argue back and forth about nature of man and woman all day long. And they are right there arguing with the fine, brilliant, beautiful woman in front of them. They're having hard gist with her, as opposed to getting to know them from a soft gist area, right? It's a lot there that I just said. Anyway, let me go back to this story right quick. We chat constantly, but all of a sudden you get ghosted. You know what ghosted means, right? They basically stop picking up the phone. They block you up. They don't want to deal with you anymore because you already said everything there is to know about you. There's no more mystery. It's a wrap. Men collect breakfast like that. Women also collect it. At this point, I think it's equal as far as I can observe. I don't know the stats. Okay, I try not to overthink about this stuff. I've been when you've dragged yourself through this kind of case. I think this is what Lila was talking about. When you drag yourself through this, you can overthink because it feels terrible. Rejection feels terrible. That's rejection, right? I don't care. I still hate rejection personally. Okay, I don't care who you are, how strong you think you are, how emotionally strong you think you are. Rejection feels like rejection. Period. Some of us may get over it faster, or we can rationalize it and say, "Oh, it wasn't." We can rationalize it, but rejection hurts. That's the bottom line. Especially if you're collecting woto on a on a dating app from regular basis, right? I've been on dates, I guess, where I will get flowers and reservations at restaurants. Yeah, this is the problem. It has nothing to do with nothing. You could throw her a $40 million birthday like Will Smith did to his wife, and she just may not appreciate it. How much more? And they were married for years at that point, like 10 years or so. How much more where they don't know from nowhere? It's not about the flowers or reservation. These are add-ons. These are nice add-ons if a person already like you and they're feeling you already. It makes the deal sweeter. It's not the deal itself. Okay? So maybe a lot of your energy is going towards flowers and reservations as opposed to understanding how human beings operate, right? When you ask a lady if you're on a dating app, which I've never used before, but I have scenarios that's kind of similar. If you're put in a place where, like, I've done like, I've seen like what do you call it, speed datings before, right? You don't want to be talking too much after you match at the speed dating. You want to say, let me get your number. Let's go out on a date in the next 3 days. You want to be a decisive person. You want to be making plans. You want to come off as you know what you're doing. You want to come off as you are busy. You don't want to sit on an app and be chatting back and forth. Are you jobless? She doesn't know exactly that's what she's picking up, but you know, the human mind, an incredible radar for bullshit. She just knows that she doesn't want to be there. Well, we can rationalize it still. There's many reasons, okay? Again, the more you're talking, the more you're pouring everything out. Everything that people can wonder about you, you're pouring everything out, right? The same thing counts for the ladies too, but less, more so for the guys, Am I just setting myself up for failures? I mean, there's been a few things that we've seen here so far. Uh, Definitely no talking on, no back and the only person I will do back and forth with, which I still don't do on a text message, especially emotionally charged material, is my wife. And even my wife, if there's some type of upset or emotional upset or overly charged up, we don't do that on the phone. I'll call you in a minute, babe. I'll call you. Give me a few minutes. I'll call you. Because you're giving people ammunitions. You're giving people the permission to interpret words into whatever they want when you do that. When you know that it's already emotionally charged. So it could be negative or positive. They really like you, but then you're talking so much and then it starts to get dry. Right? I just don't know what else to do anymore. I feel like giving up on dating. I understand. All right. How are people successful through dating? So the good news is that at least he realizes that, people are successful through dating. There are a lot of men and women that have completely given up. Completely. Like, it's lost cause for them. They don't always say it in words. It's just that it feels tiring. Like, another date, I personally know quite a few of them, and I feel for them because, it's not, I can only imagine it's not easy, right? But let's talk about it. What's your advice? Because it's open for advice. If you're listening to this, what would be your advice for this person? There's quite a few advices that people were given here. She held her own. Yeah, so let's talk about this real quickly. What would be your advice? Leave it in the comment. Let me know what your advice would be for this person. But let's see some of the advice that people were given. And let's see if we can find additional reasons why dating is so hard. Somebody said dating is hard because people think there is someone better. It's swipe away. Boom. I like that. And will easily drop you at the slightest ache. All right, so let me add that. Okay, let me add that as number 4. Number 4. Illusion of options. Illusion of options on all ends. I think at this point, I should dig up the conversation I had with that gentleman on Clubhouse earlier before I came up. Leela says, I understand how he feels because that's where I am mentally and physically. I personally can't advise him. I hear you. Yeah, it's very common. Yeah. Number 4, illusion of options. Let me tell you what this gentleman told me. I asked him. I said, "Give me your top 3 reasons why dating is so hard." Right? And what he told me was women are getting free attention these days. All right, so that by itself, a person who thinks like that will have a hard time in dating. Okay? He said women are having, let me repeat that to you again. He said women are getting free attention these days. Okay? What is free attention? What does that even mean? On apps, too many options equals to indecisiveness. Yes. So the problem is with what he said is not that he's wrong, is the fact that he's making it only women that have that option. Now, statistics wise, women get a lot more matches on dating apps than women. Naturally so. When men complain about this, I'm like, wait, you want to become a woman? Okay? It's the same thing as women get a lot more cat calls on the street back in the days than a random man walking down the street. Nobody's cat calling him. It's the same thing. Why is that becoming an issue? Well, that's one of the reasons right there. Okay? The active competition, the gender war. The gender war used to be in certain echo chambers, but it's spreading out into the world. They because they go more viral. Everyone has an idea what a gender war is. It's like, oh, it's man. So back in the day, we used to make jokes around how, the people that saw Jesus when he resurrected on the third day was women. No, it was men. It was women. We argue like a little small, harmless banter. But they are serious these days. There are men who are absolutely resenting this idea that women have free attention that they don't deserve. Guess what? There are also women who are coming from this place of, again, a bunch of people that are basically the loud minority sharing majority of the stories we know about marriage. They're usually negative. It's only natural that if majority of the news that we hear about marriages is negative, it's only natural that anytime anybody's going through a problem in their marriage or they're going through some kind of DV or something toxic or something extreme, guess where they run to? They run to social media. Guess what kind of story goes viral the most? Those kind of stories. Okay? In fact, there was a video today by this guy, Nini Owo, where he was talking about how he was able to win his wife back. That video is only going to go so much viral because it's positive in nature. If he said, you know what? If the wife came out and said, he was DV, I got beat up, and that story will be viral. We'll be talking about it tomorrow on all the gossip platforms. That's affecting the dating scene. It's making things hard because it makes people put up guards. It is what it is, right? Dating day hard because you are competing with Instagram models. That's another reason. Yes. That's another reason. Social media makes dating very competitive that you can't really get to know the person you desire to get to know because his attention is divided by some other broad. It's vice versa as well. Goes back to the illusion of option. We think we have all of these options, right? The person in that note actually just said that dating is hard because people think there is someone better just one swipe away, right? So what are you going to do about that? You have to play your game a little bit differently. We have to talk about that. What are you going to, because we can say it as a reason, but we need to come up with a solution. Because once we know that reason exists, then there's a possible solution to it, right? Because for every time there's a reason, this can only occupy so much, right? There's the other side of it behind you. You just have to kind of turn around and change your strategies. Because Whatever strategy you brought to the table, when that world that's coming from that world not existed in the first place, like social media, Instagram, apps like what do you call it? This app where you swipe left and right, right? Uh, what is it? Not Kindle. What's the name of it? What do you call it? Tinder, right? You see, I can't remember, right? And Tinder, I'm hearing is the least popular right now. There are many more others right out there, right? Right? If before there was Tinder, before there was social media, before like the way you operated during that time, you're gonna need some kind of adjustment because there weren't that many options, right? So now that there are so many options, even though they're illusions, they still kind of waste. That illusion is effective enough to waste your time and everyone's time. People are going to be hanging around 40, 45 before they get married. It's reality. So I'm going to flag that. But how? I'm going to flag that right there. So we got to come back to that. We have to come back to talking about how. Oh, it's a lot of work. I know. Are we doing a reality game show of finding a compatible mate? No. Even that one, I don't. Yeah, I don't like it. Anybody saw the Dr. Shala dating show on Instagram? I don't advise that. I don't advise that. That's like the obvious. Everyone is trying to do that right now. Definitely, you should not be doing anything that's obvious or predictable. Definitely don't want to be doing that. You know. So yes, so let's get through some of this material. So a swipe away will drop you as people are also realizing that they can be happy alone and are taking themselves out of the dating scene. How can they know that they can be happy alone if they haven't gone through time itself? The only person that can tell me that I stayed alone and I was happy all the way through. I mean, you have to be at least 70, 75 years old and you've been single for the most of your life. And you say, that's the best choice I've ever made. Once I see someone like that, then I can believe them. But you cannot be 34, 32 and then come to me and say, yeah, I think I'm happy alone. No, you're happy alone. Yes. Okay. Are you going to end up happy alone? That's a different ballgame entirely, right? What I'll tell you is that, again, as basic human needs, number 4, connection. Companionship, however way you want to shape it, form it, or the other, right? You want to celebrate with someone, right? At least children, majority of human beings, not everyone, okay? Majority of people are set up that way. They're socially conditioned that way. So because they're socially conditioned that way, when they don't accomplish it, they may say one or two things to themselves to make themselves feel better in the moment. But ultimately, your social conditioning wins, but you will have moments where you feel like, okay, right? But I still want to encourage people, like, if you're single, embrace being single. Wherever you are at any point in time, embrace it. If you're married, embrace it. Work on it. If you're single, there's a reason why you're single. There's probably things you need to work on. Okay. But with that being said, you want a better result, you want to create better outcome. We can't use that as an excuse not to work on creating better outcome, right? And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are saying, I'm happy being single. And then again, it's like saying all the rich people in the world are terrible. If you keep saying things like that, you can't get rich because you can't align. Okay. So yes, so let's see here. I see your comments later. I'm coming to it. Let's see. Social media and the culture that surrounds it. Okay, so yes, but guess what we can't do? Social media is an environmental factor. We cannot blame the outcome, our results. You can't blame it on environmental factors to a large extent. Okay, if it's snowing outside and you're snowed in, yes, your boss will say, yes, stay safe. You don't have to drive. Stay at home, right? But if every time you keep coming up with it's raining outside, it's sunny, it's like regular, like the conditions outside, the visibility, like if you keep coming up with it, you're gonna get fired, right? You really, for the most part, unless it's some kind of hurricane or something crazy that's unsafe, right? You really don't get to blame your results on environmental factors. Social media is one of those things. The only thing you can do with social media is learn how to navigate it. You can't say it is its fault. Okay? You can say, hey, it's a new environment. We got to learn how to move and navigate this new thing called social media. It gives people the illusion of options. Okay, well, you match somebody, immediately ask them out on a date. If you're a young lady and you don't believe, and the way you're socially conditioned, you don't ask people out on a date. If it's not asking for a coffee or something, or to get to see you, and it's not like it's out of town or something like that, don't waste your time, because it's probably not serious. It's probably looking for a hookup too, right? And it's probably, at the very minimum, he has no confidence, because confidence men will say, hey, when's a good time? When can we? What about tomorrow? What about we grab coffee tomorrow? They're very definitive and they will set a time. The longer you spend with the wrong person, the longer you spend away from the right person. That's a tip for you. Okay? But then they will complain that you're ghosting them. Well, again, when you have all of this illusion of options, you don't want to be wasting time. You want to be filtering for quality as fast as humanly possible. How do you do that? It's the quality of the first 2 or 3 sentences. Hey, I like what I saw on this profile. I like it. Okay, all right, good. When it's a good time that we can get together? What about tomorrow? If they're not coming off that way, there's a good chance that you're just the one that liked them at this point, that you will get ghosted eventually. So you're like, well, it's okay. We can talk a little bit. What is wrong with it? You're right. There's no set rules. But again, if you notice that the same thing is creating itself, result is happening all the time, then maybe it's time to adjust something. But again, when you have large numbers of options, right? What do you do with them? You know that you can't spread yourself that thin, right? What do? You have to have a system. I hate to use that word because we're talking about human beings, right? You have to have a system that filters through the bullshit within reasonable time, with respect to the amount of options, right? You have to do that. As a man, you have to set yourself apart. Make sure you're different. And all the other guys are trying to figure out if there's a little pussy here, and they're texting and they're trying to do that. Don't do that. Simply make sure that you're able to think ahead of people. What is it that most people are doing right now? Don't do it. You set yourself different. You set yourself apart. Okay? When it's a good time that we can get together, I'm available on Tuesday or Wednesday, 2 p.m. Which one is good for you? That's it. You cut them off, you keep it moving. Right? Get it offline as soon as possible. We're no longer in pandemic where you can get stuff offline. Okay? And if you're a lady, again, you're looking for quality men. Okay? Quality men know what they want. They're not matching you just for matching you's sake. It's very hard for them to match, by the way. It's a lot more harder for them to match a person. So if they matched you, that means they're seeing what they like. But they also have to know enough to be confident enough to ask for at least a coffee. Now, if it's cities apart, some people say, hey, this person lives in Nigeria, this person lives in London. Like, okay, good. FaceTime as soon as you can. When's a good time? Let's do a FaceTime date. I like to see your pretty face as soon as I can. I like what I'm seeing. And then she starts to beat around the bush. Like, you don't have time for that. You're too busy. You don't have time for that. Okay? Paradox of choice. Okay? So that sounds like illusion of options. Same thing. Okay? And most people aren't full on their own, meaning they don't actually know who they are. Okay, well, most people don't know who they are until 10 years in marriage. So let's take that out of the equation. Okay? That's an ongoing battle that you have to navigate later on. Getting to know who you are, especially when you're living with a person, like, trust me, like, for the first 10 years of your marriage, you're going to be working on that. So that's not the issue. So I hear people say sometimes, oh yeah, I'm single because I'm getting to know myself. No, you don't know yourself by yourself. You already knew yourself. You were yourself all your life. How you're going to get to know yourself more is what does it feel like when you're around other people, when you have to be committed to another person. You get to know yourself more in that way. Again, you've never heard that before. There's a good chance. Or you've been hearing that, like, get to know yourself. How? Well, you know yourself. Okay? That's all you've known, yourself, in that way, as a single person. Right? You don't know yourself in a situation, a committed situation with another person. Does that mean you should be getting with anything? No. What I'm saying is that don't use talking points to shoot yourself on the legs. All right. They don't actually know who they are and what they're all about. And so they're endlessly searching for someone to help them feel complete. Nah, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. They don't know. You don't know each other. You're getting to know each other. Not to know yourself. That's, the more you complicate the talking points, the harder it gets. Okay? That's why I try to keep my sentences one at a time. I try to. Sometimes I talk too much English too. And to be talked to me about that all the time. But try to keep it simple because it goes way over people's head. And then people overcomplicate issues that are actually very simple. The issue is that there's an illusion of options. They're options, but they're not exercisable. Okay, that's why I call them illusion, right? But then they're real. They will for real take your time and waste your time, right? So you got to learn how to screen through that quickly. Okay, you're gonna take your time to get to know the person who step up to the plate to go out to a coffee date. A lady who says, "Yeah, I'm a woman of a certain age. I don't mind a coffee date. I don't mind grabbing coffee, get to know you, see how the conversation goes, we'll take it from there." People don't have to break the bank. You don't have to go cut flowers and reservation, all this craziness. Ever, until you've known the person a little bit and you like their vibe. Yes, vibe is a real thing. But little do they know that they will never actually find happiness outside of the same. Yeah, I bet you this person saying this is also struggling with the same thing. They're not saying anything wrong. I just don't see the need for all this deep talk. Back in the days, it's just a cat call. You get to know a person. Before you know it, mommy mwe, people are meeting each other's family. Introduction is done. Done deal. Does that mean it's going to be perfect? No. They have to now do life. And then figure everything else along the way. The same thing they have to do, you have to still do. You can do all this serene. Getting to know myself. I need to know everything. You still have to do it. Okay? You still have to go through the work that it takes to be in a marriage. It must always come from within. Yeah, fancy talk. It's true, but it's not relevant. It's not relevant. Not yet. Okay? Essentially, people are fickle and aren't willing to work on themselves. No. This is a loaded sentence. Oh, pregnant by you? No, it's not this deep. Okay? It's not willing to work on themselves. No, it's you. There's something about the environment you find yourself. There's a shift that's happening. Okay? Information overload is a big deal. It's a big part of it. Part of the information overload is all the talking point, all the psychological talk, all the motivational talks. Listen, we're supposed to get together. It's as simple as that. But there's social skills required to do that efficiently. Okay? Very simple. You get to know a person. Once you filter through the noise, there's a lot of noise. Part of the noise is this type of talking points. They are true, they're real, but they're not relevant. It's just additional cloud for us. Okay, it's just another layer that you have to get through. Another thing that becomes a red flag. Oh, this person seems like they don't know themselves. They have low self-esteem. Like, no, like, what do you worry about that for? I said, man, do you like her? If you like her, go for it. Why are you worried about if she has low self-esteem? If it comes up that way and is real for you, why are you spending time with her? Can we keep it that simple? If you don't like a girl, just leave her alone. Right? If you don't like a guy, ghost him. Or tell him, say, yeah, just be upfront and say, I'm not feeling it. If you're a woman, a man of a certain age, you have to be able to be upfront. If you're under 25, it's okay to ghost a person if you don't want to talk to them anymore. It's acceptable. Okay? Which is why the dating landscape is in shambles. I think If I want to say anything today, if I want to wrap all this up in anything, what number are we on? Let's do number 5. Yes, dare I say it, the talking point. Back off of the talking points. I get it. What I'm saying right now is talking point too. But back off the talking points. Okay? When a child is 8, 9, 10 months, he or she starts to walk because they see enough example. People are walking on their 2 legs. I don't need to crawl. I can do it too, but because they've never failed before, what do? They get up and they start walk. They feel stagger here and there. Before you know it, 2 weeks from there, they start walking. We need to go back to those basics when it comes to dating. We're complicating everything. Information, this is linked to information overload. Let me see what Leila is saying real quick. I prefer dating before social media. I know. It was much more fun too. I can because I don't get drama trying to participate in this dating game. I embrace being single. I produce too much cortisol when I try to date. I understand. It's again, there's a level of there's a word I'm looking for that you're going to need. You're gonna have to disconnect from the process. Okay, let me reverse that backwards. Disconnect from your attachment to the outcome and start enjoying the process. Like, if you normally you're supposed to be social, at least as a person. Just be social anyway, right? Learn how to step out and have fun just for the sake of it. Just because. Okay? And try your best. It's hard, but try your best to detach yourself from the outcome. Attachment to outcomes is one of the destroyers of relationships anyway. Even after you enter relationships, when you're too attached to outcome, it messes up the experience of the process. I embrace, we get that already. It's easy for you to say because you are handsome and confident, but you lack some essential qualities to get noticed by the right person. Then what does one do? You never worry about that. That's too much to worry about. That just worrying about that will complicate dating for you already. Right? But I hear you. It's a valid question. Okay? It's still a valid question. I just want you to know that just that by itself, the overthinking of the whole thing by itself is powerful enough to really mess up the process for you. But let's unpack that really quickly. Because you're handsome and confident. Okay? I'm handsome, I'm confident. If you look at that story we said earlier, the guy's a good looking guy. Okay, granted, maybe he lacked confidence, right? How do you gain confidence? Well, confidence comes from 2 things. Okay, E and E. Okay, education, experience. Okay, just education is not enough. That's why all those people reading all those books, they're still struggling. You have to get out there and practice. That's how you build confidence. You face your fear. That's how you build confidence, right? So if you're a man or woman of a certain age, what do I mean? Above 25. You can't really use that as an excuse anymore. You can, but you shouldn't. Try not to use it as an excuse. Face your fear. Okay? If you're a woman of a certain age, you shouldn't be saying things like, I can't toast a man. You shouldn't be saying things like that. Okay? Nobody's asking you to toast a man. You can ask a man of his name. What's your name? Nice cologne. You smell good. It's okay. That's not toasting. And if it's the man that you're supposed to be talking to, he will take the bait from that point. He will help you. Okay? So confidence is a real thing. You're right. But it's also something that people can work on. You can work on it. Okay? But if you lack some essential qualities to get noticed by the right person, I know what you mean by essential. I'm having a feeling I understand the essential. So the essential things is never one thing. It's always a series of many other things. There's one thing you can use to overcompensate for the other. There's usually something, you know. So maybe a coach is required to help you learn those things. Um, the things you can't control, don't worry about it. Things you can control, you improve on them. Okay? The things you can't control, you don't worry about it because you can't do anything about them, right? But the other things you can control, you be the best at them. The things that you're already a 7 at, you push them to 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. The things that are 3 anyway, you leave them alone, you ignore them. Because when you focus on things that make you feel negative anyway, they expand. They occupy the whole thing, your whole mind, like it's the reality, but it's not. You made it the reality, right? But that thing that you're a 7 on, that people have told you before, like you are really good at, that thing, that's your gift, will open doors for you. But it's not going to happen unless you focus on it. What do I mean by focus? Work on it. Push it from a 7 to an 8 to a 9, 9.5. Because you're already close anyway. It's a lot more easier and more realistic for you to push that thing from 7 to 9 than to try to push a 3 to even a 5. You never get past 5. Still on a scale of 1 to 10. And by the way, all of us have something that we're a 3 at. All of us. We have something that we're just a 3 at. And we've attempted to try to, push it to a 10. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, Bhagava says, what about, I don't know that English. Is that a word? Feigning confidence. What is that? Can you use another word? Let me see. Karma. Faking. Faking confidence. Okay. Is that what she meant? Faking it until you make it? Yeah. I understand. To an extent, that can work, to an extent. To a large extent, it can backfire. Because again, it doesn't have to be natural. It has to come off as natural, if you've ever been successful at anything, it's probably because pretending, feigning. You guys go teach me now. Yeah, pretending to be confident. We can smell, we can sniff that. We can sniff that. It's always better to build confidence from education and experience, because then it's written in stone. You've internalized it. It's who you are now. It's become second nature. So it takes time. It's a process. Don't skip the process. And sometimes that may come off in your head as you're pretending you're faking it. No, you're practicing. Let's say we say, hey, dress up in suits to work from time to time. Just dress up in suits. You look sharp. You can always appreciate it, right? Just dress up in suits, right? And somebody, you're faking it. No, you're not faking it. We know this, that when you dress up in suits, you get respected more. We just know that. And it makes you feel confident when people respond to you positively. It helps you feel more confident too, right? So it's like a vicious cycle that you have to keep winding until it becomes second nature, right? You put in some effort. Some people call it faking it. It's not faking it. But again, there's some faking it that will backfire because everybody can tell. Like don't go there and start using like this gentleman I was talking to this afternoon was trying to use somebody else's line. I'll kiss you on the forehead. There's no kissing on the forehead. First of all, you're not supposed to say that out loud. Second of all, you don't kiss strangers on the forehead. Third of all, by the time you're doing that, that's just an icing on the cake. There's other things going on already before, But again, there are some things like that. We need real life examples, which we're trying to cover right now. Let me go back to some of this. So that's the same for most people. Girls talk to lots of guys at once, and then it's a battle to keep them interested. Okay, so a lot of ladies feel that way too. If they ghost you, they aren't the right match. Boom. I like that more. This is a mindset thing. But they matched. Listen, it's a mindset thing. You matched, but they weren't the right match. Okay, you got to keep it moving. It's the internet. It's not 1960 when only two people are catwalking you per day. There's about 10 or 12 people matching you on a daily basis. If you're active on those profiles, you got to screen. You just have to screen, and you have to come up with a good method to screen. And you have to be okay with the idea that, yeah, you may screen out some good guys too. That's okay. Remember, there's options, right? So the right one will eventually fall through the cracks necessary to get to you. So the person say more on to the next. It's a mindset you need to have. You do have options. You do have to have an abundance mindset, but not in terms of so now some of the guys are blaming you for ghosting them. Don't buy into that. If you got ghosted, it's probably you talk too much and the attraction is just not there. It's as simple as that. If you're a man, you get your match as soon as possible. You ask the person out for a coffee date. Go and spend $10 on 2 cups of coffee and get to know a person. If there are multiple cities apart, do a FaceTime. If they're not okay with exchanging numbers for FaceTime, what are we talking about? Why are you waiting until you get ghosted? There's no attraction. There's interest is not there. You don't negotiate desire, right? Same thing. It's a little different, but similar, right? Plenty of options and high expectation. This is correct. I'm actually going to lift that and make it our number 6. All right, so somebody said, how will it backfire? What did I say that will backfire? Oh, fake. Okay. All right, that's a good question. So remember, I always say, human beings, we have incredible radar for bullshit, right? So let's say, let me use a man, since I'm a man. Let me use a man as an example. Like, he picked up a book. He's trying to learn how to date, and he learned about 21 pickup lines. Okay, 21 pickup lines. What did he do? He memorized them all. Okay, he just memorized them. He went on the next date. Well, not a date yet, but he saw a girl and decided to use a pickup line. Ladies, you can tell me at this point. You can feel it if it's not really coming from him. He's faking it. As a matter of fact, he tried to double down after you caught him, like, huh? What are you talking about? He tried to double down again, right? But it's just not real, right? So another one is like in business. Even in business, the same thing is real. You want to tell everyone that you're making $1 million so that you can teach them how to make $1 million. People know if you're not really making $1 million. They can feel it. They may not know, they can feel it. So it will backfire. Okay. You notice that it's kind of going in circles, right? It's plenty of option and higher expectations, right? The higher expectation part kind of like puts a little caveat to what we've been talking about, the illusion of options before, right? It goes back to the grass is greener on the other side thing, right? So let's just leave it at that for now. So I will give you some solid stuff before the end of the session, I promise. As a woman, I have the same problem on Hinge. This is a woman saying this. So most of the guys can't hold a conversation. All right. I think this is real. I hate to come off as I'm blaming men all the time, but the truth is that we lead, okay, as a default. So if we come off lame, everything is going to become lame and watered down, right? Because the woman will follow suit, either in the form of ghosting you, or for getting frustrated, or basically provoking our worst insecurities. It is what it is. A woman with the lowest self-esteem can be around a guy who has game, and she can start to feel safe and secure and blossom, right? So Yeah, let's keep going. Maybe we'll find a good example. If it meant saving their life, okay, so they can't hold a good conversation, what do they do? They ask, what do you bring to the table? Oh no, we didn't really ask it like that, but no, she can smell it. She knows that you're testing her. You know, a man is not supposed to be going on a date to be testing a lady. He's supposed to go there and have a good time. She's supposed to follow your program. If you sit down and all you're doing is interviewing her, that's exactly why you're struggling. That's why she's also struggling, because she now has her guards up. If you feel like a man is interviewing you on the date, the questions are, they're not intrusive, but they're almost like, it's like a test, like it's an invigilator, right? uh, it's infuriating, like talking to a brick wall. Because again, it doesn't feel like human being. It's like it's like fake breasts. You see me doing this? It's like fake breasts compared to real one, right? One has life, the other one is like dead, like silicone, right? They just feel different. Okay, it doesn't. We know what real is and what fake is. Okay, but if faking means you're growing and you're practicing, I think that's the difference. Bagavad. Okay, if faking means you're practicing and listen, you should get out there and practice. Okay, and don't be so attached to the outcome. Just know that you're getting better with time, right? But if faking it means you're going to take on another person and act like another person entirely, we can smell it. Human beings can feel it, they can smell it. Okay, like talking to a brick wall, they couldn't give two shits. Starting to think most don't actually want to make a connection. They do. Some of them are confused when it comes to they want to hook up, or if they see a girl that they don't really like, that they don't see a future with, they still want to lay. They still want to lay. So you have to watch out for a lot of that, especially if they're young. Okay, because they're animal and are just looking for validation. Okay, someone like that. I guess it's mostly because society criticizes men and most of their social behavior without giving any other model to follow. I agree with this. I agree with this. So a lot of people that criticize, they don't really like. For example, you notice that I have one story which is the example, but maybe I should have. Maybe we'll do a part two where I come up with some real life examples, right? For example, the question that I think it was Bagava that was asking, how can it backfire? I would like to have an example of how it can backfire, and I'll give you stories later. I have tons of them. It's just like I prepared something else today. We'll get to it. The result is that most of the times we're scared of what we would like to talk. As in dating, as in life, the trick is in falling onto your master. I just said that. See, this person know what they're talking about. You have to fail in onto your master until it becomes second nature. Now, for you ladies, again, you're looking for competent men. Don't waste your time with incompetent men. Okay. With that being said, if you like them enough, when you like a person enough, you tend to give them more grace, right? Don't hesitate. You can push it a little bit. Nothing is written in stone, right? There's no rules written in stone, right? If you like him enough, it's coming off as a little lame as that. Look at him as like, okay, wait, let me help you. You like him. You know you do that when you like a person anyway, right? But it's not sustainable. At some point, it's going to need to step up, But it's okay if it's like a temporary situation where there was a little awkward moment when you were getting to know each other. Learn how to give some grace, because I'm telling you, just like Yahoo. All right. As in dating, as in life, the trick is okay, failing the master. Anyway, dating is like an interview. Okay, it's not. Don't make it an interview. From a mindset standpoint, don't do interview. Okay? Get to know a person. Even interviews these days, they try not to act like it's interview. They get to know you. Right? How much more an actual date? Don't say that to yourself, because it becomes a mindset. Oh, I must know everything. I need to know if he has diarrhea, if he has gonorrhea. Don't do that. Don't do that. First of all, you're not going to know. They're not going to tell you the truth. Don't go there asking her for her body count. How many body count does she have? She should be able to tell anyway. Good luck. I actually think it's red flag when a woman is so open to tell you her body count. It's actually a red flag on her part because normal human beings will be a little bit awkward, will feel uncomfortable sharing that information. Yeah. Oh, some are, pragmatic enough and they're on that side of the brain and they feel like, what's wrong? Let's just share and be open and like, it's still not normal behavior. Okay. On the receiving end of that assertive behavior later, he's not going to like it still. Okay. And what's driving this for the most part is emotions. You can be pragmatic all you want. Okay. So eventually, if he's on the receiving end of you being so pragmatic and everything is ones and zeros, it's going to backfire too. As human beings, we're emotional beings. Yes, you should watch out for what you're doing, but you must also find a balance to make sure you're paying attention to how people feel around you because that's the ultimate. You interview 100, but in the end of the day, just one deserve the job. Yeah. I just don't like the sound of interview. From a mindset standpoint, avoid thinking of it as an interview. Think of it as that you're going out, you're taking a friend. If it becomes romance, it becomes romance. Okay? You're going out with a friend that you just met. Ladies, think of it that way. Okay? Gentlemen, you're going out, you're taking a friend. Relax, drink some water. I have number 7. I have number 7 already. It just came to me. 7. Too uptight. Too uptight. Let me see here. See. I know I'm not being positive about this dating issue, but it has become so. No, you're good. You're good, Layla. Thanks for sharing. I'm being vulnerable, by the way. It's become so exhausting to get to know people, not to talk of dating. I know. But it's an attachment to the outcome. It's going back to the attachment to the outcome. It's difficult work for you to do, but you have to do the work. Don't be so attached to the outcome. Okay? Attachment generally kills attraction. Just generally. Attachment kills attraction. Okay? We have a whole chapter in the book about that. Okay? And we have stories, so maybe that's a good place to go and find some stories. You don't, even though you don't feel confident. So again, confidence comes from education and experience, right? So you're gonna have to face your fear and get into practice. It's exhausting. I agree with that. But you still have to. Okay, you don't feel confident, and then a lot of the work has to be on yourself in terms of either your looks, what makes you feel confident, what makes you feel like you look good. Have you identified a few times maybe the way you dressed up, what type of clothes you wear that makes you feel confident? Just do more of it. Do 8 times more of it and try new things the other 2 times. You can do the 80-20 Pareto principle with that. You spend 7-8 times dressing in the way that you know already makes you feel confident, right? The other 2 or 3 times you try out some new things and see, you might just discover something new, right? So that you're not just walking a straight line or not taking any risk at all, right? Though you don't feel confident, you can pretend to be until like you said, you keep practicing until it becomes part of you. Yeah. So you spend a lot of time where you're confident, and then you spend some time testing some new things out, some new outfits. Buy yourself, take care of yourself. But ladies, buy yourself stuff. Don't take yourself out on a date. I don't like the idea. I personally don't like the idea. Okay. I just don't see how it works. People try to claim that sometimes. Oh yeah, I take myself out on a date. I'm like, nah. At least in the real sense of a date. That's what I'm talking about, right? You're gonna say, no, go with your friends on a date. You could do that. You could take your friends and say, hey, married or not, you can say, hey, I want to go watch a movie. You want to come with me? Yeah, sure. A friend? Yeah, sure. But we're social beings, okay? Again, that's one of the talking points that I hear people say to themselves. It feels good in a moment, but I'm calling cap on it. Okay. People are definitely going to judge you when you reveal too much too soon about yourself. Yeah, they should get to know you. They should like you. You should feel confident. Yes, understanding that at some point you're taking a risk, right? And it's a move of faith. It's always a move of faith, 100%. There's no time you're ever going to be until you die. That's 100%. I know everything. It doesn't exist. So you might as well just make a move of faith, right? You see a guy you like, ask him what his name. What do you like about him? Tell him what you like about him in terms of that moment. Nice shirt, right? Compliment, right? And don't go too further, because if you go further and you're not built to be toasting a man, if you're not that kind of lady, it will become awkward and you'll mess it up. But you could literally position yourself for what you like. If he doesn't know how to grab it, he's probably not the guy. And that's fine. Don't be attached to the outcome. Okay, so now one of the things I like to share with people is that if you still work a job, then there are career events. You should be involved in all of that. Okay, that's where you get to meet people. Things that you normally do already, you should be more involved. Is it church? Then it is church, right? You should be more involved. There shouldn't be a convention going on that you're not participating. Actively, your husband will find you in that process. And if you, like I said, if you found him first, there's something that you like about him. Nice haircut, something. One compliment is all you need. If it's the right guy, he will take the bait. If it's not the right guy, no big deal. It's really not a big deal. You're a woman of a certain age, and you're just being intentional. This is one of those moments you do want to be intentional, right? But this part that I just shared with you is a tip that you need to write down. Company events, church events, get involved. Put yourself out there on things that you already naturally. What events do people go to climb the ladder, that next corporate ladder? Be involved. It doesn't have to be your company. It could be industry event, something that will help you improve on your career. Engage those things. That's how you meet new people, and you just never know. You got to put yourself out there. Okay, got to put yourself out there. The dating apps, for obvious reasons, okay, for obvious reasons, dating apps, it's just not where it's at. If you're going to play the game of the dating apps, you can't be emotionally attached to it. It's like flip, right? And there's a good chance that sometimes you leave the app, you don't go there for days in a row, right? And you come back and you're like, oh Lord, right? It's just not natural. What can be natural is when you go out to events, right? Go out to events. Step out in the evening with your lady friends, right? And be open to having a conversation. A lot of those people are going to become friends, lifelong friends. They don't have to be romantic partners. Get to know people. See, it's showing your energy, and that's already by itself also a very attractive thing. Okay. All right. Are you being funny or flirty? 75% of couples aged 20 to 90 met in some kind of social settings, though. Only 21% meet online. Hey, take a look at that. I don't know the source of that stat, but maybe this will tell you something. I didn't even know that was there. Get a bigger social network. Join hobbies, activities. Okay. So now instead of you thinking of Tinder, think Instagram. Okay. Think where majority of people are for many other reasons. Other interests outside of dating. Okay. Go to social things with your friends. Having a life that seems fun to be a part. Remember, everyone wants to be a part of a good thing. And they can feel it. They can see, they can feel it. So be that person that people want to be a part of what you have going on. It could be because of how you stay fit. It could be because of how you move, how you talk, all those things you can improve on. It could be because you're a leader, you're in leadership now, you're on a stage, you're talking. You've taken on a passion. All the other things that we don't worry about, but we worry about dating, now start worrying about those things, right? And then while you're doing that, while you're doing life, which is why I don't fall for what Patrick was telling me, that ASU strike. While you're doing life, you meet people. It's while you're doing life. You don't stop life, or life doesn't stop and then stop you from meeting people. They're supposed to be working concurrently. Okay, because that's the natural order of things. Okay, we all need connection. We're not talking about your professional life or your professional life should never stop your opportunity to date. It shouldn't be. You're doing something wrong if it is stopping you. Oh, it's my career. No, there's something that you're doing wrong. Your career never stops that. But it's always an active marketplace. And if you are hot in the market, you will be scooped. Okay, man or woman. Having a life that seems fun to be attractive. Okay, expectation, that's the problem with dating nowadays. Here's one idea: take it or leave it. Get off dating apps. All right. I'm actually leaning in that direction. Dating apps. Because again, it's so obvious and predictable. You're there to find a husband or for hookup. And then here you are, a bunch of people are matching you because they want to hook up. And you're like, no, I'm looking for a husband. And that looks weird too. You're looking for a husband? Like, what do you mean? I'm not talking to anyone that's not serious. Okay, keep talking. I'm not interested. Why? Not because you're wrong. Again, it just feels weird to a typical guy that you're just talking about marriage. We don't even know each other yet. Right? So for me personally, I'm kind of leaning in that direction. I may just call it a rule at some point. Get off dating apps. Use regular social media platforms. Become interesting on regular social media platforms. Don't overdo it. Don't do photo shoots elaborate all the time unless you're an actress, unless you're an actor. If that has something to do with how you make money, sure. But a little balance between selfies, regular human being, you out, you take food or anything like that, and a balance between that and being a normal human being, right? Something that looks like this is a normal human being I want to connect with, right? That's what I'm talking about. You see a picture of a guy that you like or something like that is in your circle, but you see him online, you hit like. That may just be all he needs to make the move, right? I'm dropping some tips. Take the next 2 years in self-development. This is key. This is a powerful one. And working out, financial investing, have your own purpose and drive. These things should not stop you from meeting people. That's the key. I know way too many people that they're doing these things, but these things are getting in the way in weird ways, Okay? It shouldn't get in the way. It's supposed to help, okay? All right? So don't use this to disengage from your feminine power as a woman. Gentlemen, you should be doing this already by default. You shouldn't be looking for a date if you're not doing this. Who are you looking for? Right? Be confident enough to walk up to a girl at a cafe, okay? This is for guys. Or restaurant, bookstore. Do not go to bars and clubs. Why? Because it's obvious, it's predictable. Okay? Unless you want to sleep with them or something like that, you shouldn't be going there to scoop for serious relationships. Okay? You could get to know people, don't get me wrong, but again, don't be so serious at the club. You could collect numbers at the club, but that's for young kids. You should be, bottom line is that I wouldn't make this a rule. You should be able to do this anywhere confidently. Okay? And be okay with the outcome. She said no, she's not giving you a number. Okay. Next. So what next? Some will, some won't. So what next? SW. That is what it is. We used to be okay with that. People are no longer okay with that. What they do is they turn around and create a YouTube channel and say all the women are just playing games. They don't want to talk to nobody. No, you're lame. It's always been that way. Okay? They go for the winner. It doesn't matter if we're talking about high school or we're talking about long after college. Okay? It's always been that way. Around 29, 30, and girls you meet around that age bracket will be a little more eager to check you out. All right. For obvious reason, because 29, 30 is that's where they jump into the next decade and they're trying to get married. That's a good tip to pick up, So, but also to beware. You don't want people that are just desperate that don't want to do the work in getting to know each other, right? So if you're a man, this is a sweet spot to find ladies that are serious, not desperate, but serious, right? Have clear principles and boundaries. No. Okay? If you're a normal human being and you're on this page right now, you already have this. Don't overthink this. Leave it alone. Okay? I'm deleting that. I need you to calm down, drink some water, Life is not, it doesn't have to be that deep. And get to know people. See, as sweet and as accurate as that could sound, that can become walls around you. Okay? Create more struggle. Vet each girl and get to know her. I don't like the word vet. Just don't. Get to know her sounds better. Her friends, her family, just people, just be people. Okay? That doesn't mean if she's all red flag that's obvious that you should get with it anyway. That's not what that means. What I'm saying is that look for green flags. Stop looking for red flags so much, right? You like a person, you like him more, you get to know them a little bit more. And they can be friends for life. They don't have to be a romantic partner. The attachment to the outcome is too much. Okay, so let's make that number 8. Let's do that. Number 8. Attachment to outcome. I got some clips I want to play for you. I got some clips. Number 8 is attachment to outcomes. I've said it quite a few times. It's high time I make it a thing. Let's see. What about those ones looking for serious 24-year-olds? At 24? Well, I met my girl when I was 24. My wife now. Right? No, I wasn't serious. I was having a good time. And I'm glad I did. Okay? If you have to use the word serious in that sense, I was just a normal 24-year-old kid. I was wrapping up my master's degree in college. Marriage was the last thing on my mind. I just saw a girl that I like. And I started spending a lot of time with her. And 3 years later, we were married. Okay? If you're looking for serious 24 years old, maybe I need to know what you mean by serious. What do you mean by serious? Okay? If you want 24 years old, look for a normal 24-year-old. That's all I can say about that. Okay? Look for a normal 24-year-old guy. If that means serious, then for you, then that's serious. Okay? But again, one of the things that I keep seeing here is being too uptight, attachment to outcome, looking for things to be perfect. All this active efforts to skip the line to a perfect life. Yeah, we got to be careful with those things. Doesn't mean you should get with anything. What I'm saying is that if you're working on yourself, there are certain type of people that won't be around you anyway. Right? But if somebody is in your circle, you probably should be taking a closer look. If you are romantically attracted to them at all. Let me see. I think there are some 30 to 40 years old that look for young 24 to 23-year-old expecting serious relationship. Yeah. If you're 30 and you're looking at 24-year-old, yeah. But from 40 to 24, the only thing I'm going to say is that you better know what the hell you're doing. Better know what you're doing, okay? But that's a gap. That's a hell of a gap. And that difference in generation can become an issue. But it's not wrong, it's not illegal. You can even go as far as 18. Knock yourself out. So I hear you. Anyway, so let me go. This was a lot more material than I thought. And lastly, if your intentions are marriage, then I have a whole list of other things to be put on the list. Don't do that. Don't do that. For me, as far as I'm concerned, marriage, dating, relationship, you treat it the same way. You treat it the same way. Are they different? Yes, in real life, they're different. It's going to be a different experience because obviously things get more serious and it gets more harder to leave a situation, right? But when it comes to the romantic part of it, right, the attraction part of it, you treat it the same way. As a young man, you're dating, you treat all women equally, right? If they're in your world, they're in your world for a reason. You attracted them. You treat them all equally. You act like a grown man, right? Like a responsible gentleman, right? If you're a woman, you do what you're supposed to do, okay? The same thing you're supposed to do now. When you start having babies, dynamics and things will change. But at the back of your mind, you understand that we got to keep things fresh when it comes to it. At the back is there, even if you don't always catch up to it. But at the back of your mind, you know that it's an active marketplace. I need to take care, edify what I got. Don't wait until somebody else takes it away from you. Right? So no, I don't want you to hide on top of the list. Remember, I'm trying to avoid this old thing that we call red flags and list and all those things that we've turned to guards. Then the whole thing will collapse on you. You build a castle around yourself and the whole thing will collapse on you. And then you die alone. Do you notice that everyone has another list that they want to give you? He was saying everything correctly up to this point. Up to that vetting point. No. You should seek premarital counseling when it's time to marry and seek a wise counsel. And they have a way of not making it feel overwhelming for you. They will talk to you, have a conversation with you, take you through a program that already has elements of fun in it, right? So you're not overthinking it. But collecting lists all over the place on the internet because you're thinking marriage, you will build a castle around yourself and you will die alone. Hello, I've been on Hinge as well. I actually tried to meet guys, but it seems that the most important thing is sex. Let me tell you something, ladies. Men will want to have sex. Unless you're inside church somewhere, which they want to have sex too. Yeah, all the followers of Kingsley Okonkwo, they want to have sex too. Okay? Okay. They do. Okay? The only reason why this will be an issue for you is because you're not attracted to the person. If you're not attracted to the person, there's no need to have the conversation. You keep it moving. The sex is not the issue. The issue is that these are people that you're not attracted to. See how easy it is to rope something else into it and make it act like it's a real thing. No, it's not a real thing. Okay? Even if you're holier than thou and you're a virgin and stuff like that, if you're romantically attracted to them, you will be thinking about them in a sexual way. Right? This is not a thing. It's a fake thing. It's a fake part of the whole thing. The only reason why you're only talking about those ones that want to have sex, but you're not attracted to. But you didn't talk about the one that wants to have sex, but you're attracted to him as well. As a matter of fact, sometimes you end up sleeping with him. But you're not telling us that part of the story. The issue here is not sex. Okay? All young, especially young enough men are like animals. Yes, they want to have sex. Okay, at some point, if they're too aggressive with that, and if it comes off as aggressive, that means you're not attracted and you don't feel safe. It's not the sex, you don't feel safe. You can disconnect and keep it moving, so you don't spend time with the wrong people, which is time away from the right people. Okay, so they all want. So if you really want to generalize here, go all in and generalize. Okay, all of them want sex. Okay, so that's not the issue. Or at least in what I have been experiencing in dating apps. They want hookups. Okay? If they don't like you, they still want to tap that. Sorry. If I don't want to have sex, then that means I'm boring. Not necessarily. It just means it's a lot. I need to hear your full story. Okay? I need to hear your full story. But if you don't want to have sex, you don't want to have sex. If a person is rushing you to have sex, it's just not a match. That's really what I want to say, okay? There's nothing wrong with the fact that you don't want to have sex. It's just that, again, you're matching with somebody that wants to, and especially aggressively so, in a way that they don't even know how to make you feel safe. The main issue is that they don't know how to make you feel safe. You shouldn't be spending time with such a person. Sometimes it happens that they block me as soon as I tell them my favorite video game for some reason. It's a struggle. Another guess is that I'm not that good looking for men. No, that's insecurity and self-esteem issues. Work on yourself. Find out the things that make you feel confident and engage them actively. Okay? The self-love you have for yourself is what the men will also mimic. The confidence is what we will see. Okay? Now, some people may be challenged, look-wise, but come on, these days you can make yourself up and look nice. Okay? For the most part, okay? There might be some exceptions. Listen, if you've ever been told that you're a good-looking woman, hold on to that, okay? Hold on to that. If you've never been told that you're a good-looking woman ever, engage a coach. Okay, engage a coach. All right, they'll show you what to do. Because I do know that also exists. Maybe a challenge, maybe there's thief all over the place. Maybe there are things you can do. Okay, there's always something. Just ask questions and engage a coach. Don't try to do, but don't shoot yourself on the legs. And there are men that will happily work with you because they will engage with your spirit and they're attracted to your spirit. Another guess is you're aiming out of your league. Yeah, this is stupid. I hear all this all the time. In my opinion, if I feel like I can go for that, I'm going for it. And it's not about the it that I'm going for. It's the fact that I feel that confident. That's more than enough rewards. Even if I don't get that thing that you're calling out of the league. This is another way for people to over-rationalize everything. What is going out of your league? We're human beings. Going out of your, okay, you went for Otedola's daughter. Oh, of course, at that point, there's classism and stuff like that you have to worry about. But that's a different conversation entirely. But we're talking about getting to know a person, toasting a girl. No, there's no such thing as going out of league. In my opinion, if you feel like you could go for it, you go for it. If you fail at it a few times, nobody will tell you. But I guess they could claim that he's failing right now. No, it's just lack of confidence. He said it himself. Good-looking men get several matches as well. Don't forget. Well, he's getting several matches, so maybe he's getting frustrated because he's getting several matches off of his looks. This is a real one. Lack of game, right? But when he opens his mouth and talk, it gets dry. It's a turn off, right? All right. Let me see. I'm not sure. We might have to do a part 2 on this one. If we get this number up, we'll do a part 2 on this. If we get this number up. There are some 30, 40-year-old look. Okay, I think we already talked about this. Yeah. Let's see. Truth be told, you're probably boring this woman. Sounds like you're getting attention, which is half the battle. That's like 10% of the battle, but let's keep it moving. Remember, game, emotional, right? You can look good. That's 10-15%. You get attention, sure, but it won't go further than that. But then you're losing the attention. It's not always your fault, but it's still happening too often. Between the potentially bland conversation and doing too much too soon on the first day, this person got it. This person got it. You're killing the initial attraction instead of building upon it. Boom. That's a good one. A lot of people in my experience, men are not interested in seeing where something goes. They just want to stay in the chatting phase. Ridiculous in my opinion. Yeah, there's a lot of men doing that. There's a lot of men in this generation doing that. And it's sad. It's sad. There's a lot of them doing that. Gentlemen, for the rest of your life, you don't engage emotionally charged conversation by text. Ever. You set appointments. You set dates by text. Appointments for, yes, if it's long distance, FaceTime. So you can talk, you can feel each other's facial emotions, right? Preferably in person, okay? I didn't say you should fly her out. That's ridiculous if you're looking for something serious. If you're living a rock star lifestyle and you have that kind of money, knock yourself out, sure. Just don't come back and cry wolf. You spend that money, you spent it for yourself. You flew her out, that's on you, okay? We chat constantly, but because a lot of these young lame kids are making multiple six figures, so so they think they can fly out and they pass. And now when their heart gets broken, they're like surprised, like, no, you led with money. That's all you're good for, money. And after a while, she can also get other guys with money, and there's a ton of them right now, right? So a lot of young kids working in the tech, making multiple six figures, and that's a good thing. But money tends to multiply who you are in all the miseries that come with that. Anyway, we chat constantly, but all of a sudden I get ghosted. Couple thoughts here. How long are you chatting before asking them out? Boom. I don't know what's IME. In my experience, any more than a few days, now assume you just want a pen pal and move on. Exactly. You just want to chat. What was the last thing you said before they stopped responding? That's a good question. See if there's any pattern there. You may be revealing something that is a deal breaker for that person. No, the person is not thinking that deep. It just doesn't feel right. And they will ghost your ass the moment it doesn't feel right. Okay? They don't usually think, they're not thinking like, oh, this one is saying the right thing. And no, it feels wrong or it feels right. Feelings. Okay? And if you are a man who says everything that comes through your brain as it comes through you, you're going to get blocked, just like you get cancelled in the real world too. You're probably too nice. I said it. He's a good guy. Remember, it's a good guy, good looking guy too. Women are objects. Treat them as such and you get laid. Now, this is bullshit. All right? That part is complete BS. I'm looking for... Let's strike that out. It's very important that I strike that out. Particularly from a mindset standpoint. Okay? And then you can see he's short and sweet and you think he said something, right? But you come up and you say something like this publicly, your own case is probably worse. Dating is hard for men because women are picky. Okay, this is what the friend I was telling you, this is what it was saying. And women are picky because they have fewer eggs than you have sperm cells. And women also have to invest more in their offspring than you do. Dating is also inherently riskier for women in all kinds of ways. Okay, this is evolutionary psychology 101. Okay, all right. So let's see. Women are picky because they have fewer eggs. Yeah, all of this is bullshit. And a woman also have to invest more in their offspring than you do. Yeah, the woman is not thinking about children when she ghosted your ass. Okay. No, she's not. All of this make it sounds like the woman is sitting out there deliberately doing this. This is a natural order of things. If you are pouring out too much too early by text message, you're going to come off as lame. You're going to get ghosted. It's really that simple. Don't overthink it. Attractive women ghost you on apps because they have like 50 guys interested in meeting up at any given time. Okay, so now let's unpack this, right? So this one right here, it's a little, let me think of it. I'm gonna flip it, okay? Attractive women ghost you on apps because you don't have a way of standing out among 50 other guys who are interested in them. See, this one puts the blame, just by itself, puts the blame on the woman. But you're responsible for this part. Stand out. You have to do it in business, you have to do it in dating, in any generation, in any society. Even back then in 1920, you would have to stand out somehow, some way. So if there are 50 guys interested in her DM and meeting up with her, all you have to do is find a way to stand out. What do most guys do again? They stay in the chat, they start chatting, they start asking you questions, what do you bring to the table? Simply don't do that. Don't do that. Be interested in her and she will tell you everything you want to know. Everything. Be interested in making her feel safe and secure because you do that equally with all ladies anyway. Right? It's just who you are. People just feel good around you. They feel safe around you, right? But let me tell you the bad news. The bad news is that most guys are not doing this. Most guys, they are terrible at this, and then they create terrible results, and then it's a vicious cycle. So because they're interpreting this result as it's just all the woman's fault, what they're doing is that they're creating more unsafe environment for the ladies, and then it's a vicious cycle. So it gets bigger and bigger, and until you as an individual remove yourself from that and find a way to stand out. And I've shared a few tips already today. Simply don't sit down on the phone and be having text message. Ask for a date, a coffee date, not plates, multiple plate, $200 plates, reservations, flowers. No, you don't know her. So your flower is stupid anyway. You don't know her like that. Why are you bringing flowers? Just go there, get to know her. If you get to know you like the conversation, listen, I'm taking you out on a real date on the next one. You need to dress up for me. You would know to say things like that based off of the vibe of the conversation at a coffee date, at a date at a park, meet up somewhere, you know. Men are more desperate for dates for the same reason I explained above. To be successful, you have to have great pictures. Again, great pictures, make sure they look like human beings, not overly beat up, overly Photoshop. You don't need to look like unless you're an actress, don't look like a headshot of an actress. Make sure it looks like selfies are best. There are good natural looking filters that you can take nice selfies, nice angles, and put them up. Okay? And show that you're having a good time. Everyone wants to be a part of the life of a person who is having a good time. Okay? Great pictures, bio, write good messages. Avoid motivational quotes. Okay? Yeah, just stay away from that. You have to be in the top 20% of profiles. Yeah, avoid using numbers. There's no need to use numbers. You need to feel good about yourself. Okay? Avoid the number bullshit. Okay? You feel good about yourself is all you need to focus on. Okay? Some days you don't feel it. That's normal behavior, normal human being behavior. Okay? It's actually not that hard when tons of men have horrible profiles, including shirtless bathroom selfies. Okay, all right. So, gentlemen, let me back up of taking selfies for gentlemen. Gentlemen, professional looks, okay? Professional, semi-professional looks, look decent, okay? Shirtless. If you're serious, if you're a man of a certain age, definitely not. Downright negative bios. Yeah, bios where all you're talking about is how terrible all the modern women in today's time and age is. Yeah, you're going to need to buy a dog and die alone. Just put in some effort in your photos and bio and you'll probably do okay. If you're ugly, make sure to maximize your appearance with your fitness, okay? So I wouldn't say if you're ugly, okay? If you think that about yourself, there's definitely something off there. If you come to say, hey, I'm just real, I tell myself, if you're saying shit like that, right? That's worse, okay? I'm just being real. I'm being pragmatic, but I know my own. If you talk like that, it's something terribly wrong and it's going to show up in a bad way later on. Okay? If you're just that and you feel that way, what I'm saying is engage a coach, engage therapy because there's something deeply wrong. Okay? I don't care if you're, as a fact, ugly. There's something wrong with just saying I'm hungry or ugly. There's something wrong with that. Everything is wrong with that. Okay? And there's something wrong with the person that will get with you because you're being real. It's red flags all over the place. See, this is one of the few times I will say red flags. Make sure to maximize your appearance with your fitness level and good clothes. You should focus on things you can control, period. And you should be proud of it and go all in with it, okay? Because it can be worse. Whatever it is that you're complaining about, it can be worse, okay? On apps, people evaluate your superficial qualities. They don't care about you being nice and hardworking because they can't see that on your profile. That's a good point. Picture is 90% of the profile. Okay, that's a good point. It's too easy and it's loaded dice, especially for guys. The dating sites want you on the platform as long as possible. Yeah, that's conspiracy. The dating sites are dating sites for a reason. They make money with it. It's really that simple. The overthinking is killing a lot of people. I'm successful in dating because I took massive action. You struggle because you think swiping on Hinge is sufficient. That's a good point too. If you're swiping, that's the least. There shouldn't be any expectations around swiping to match. Okay? As a woman a few years older than you, 29, and also a professional, what I'd suggest is don't talk on the app too long. Exactly. That's a good advice. I start to question if a guy is actually interested or just stringing me along if after about 3 days of messaging, 3 days is even too long already. You want to stand out? Hey, nice choice. When would you like to meet up? I'm available on Tuesday and Wednesday. Can we catch up for coffee? You do that, it will shock her because she doesn't get that all the time. Okay, everybody else is trying to stay safe and text until they make sure that she's a perfect wife, feminine, fit, and friendly. Dumbass. He doesn't say anything about meeting. After about 3 days, let's say, asking to meet for a coffee or a drink after work is enough to show me he's actually interested. Beyond that, confident. He's not afraid to make a move. As a man, right? If he's afraid of meeting for coffee, what else is he going to be afraid of doing later on? As for the flowers, I find it kind of, yeah, it is creepy. If for the first date he brings flower, it feels like overkill, and that's he's just trying to barrage me. Oh, women just don't like chivalry these days. No, you're lame. It's weird. Don't bring flowers on a first date. You don't know her like that. Okay? Not especially in this time and age, okay? Like come on, man. It feels like overkill, and that's he's just trying to barrage me to immediately get in my pants. By third or fifth date, I find it far more endearing. Yeah, obviously she's going on a third, fifth date with you. She likes you, right? And a continued sign is actually interested in me as a person. That's a good one right there. Avoid dating apps. Go out blowing and something with your friends. I said that earlier. The dating app thing is buy a cute girl a drink. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Ladies, you don't have to buy a guy a drink, okay? It's not that deep, okay? You just have to look good. That's it. Do your best to look your best, right? And we got the rest. The right guy has the rest. He will figure it out, right? You're 27. Chances are you just haven't gone on enough dates to notice which women are really interested and which ones are likely ghost you. If you really have a great job, you might want to try the elite matchmaking service. I don't like elite matchmaking services. I've seen some of them on TV. They're terrible. They get more awkward. It's just weird, okay? That's just how I feel about it. I don't know. I like these things to be organic, and I think it's doable organically, okay? Elite matchmaking service, nothing wrong with them per se. They have some success stories, but dude, I don't know. You know what's the problem? I can read from your post that seems like you need to conquer a woman no matter what. I think you should change mindset and be the center of your life. I like this. You bring a friend along to spend time with you in your awesome life, existing already awesome life. If a girl has your interest, then go for her. But don't exaggerate until she really has impressed you. Now, it depends on what you mean by impressed you. But impressed you in terms of she looked good and she's giving you attention. Not impress you by speaking your talking points, because you know you don't want that chick. You know you don't want her anyway. You don't, right? You want her to impress you because she's confident in herself too. She just look good, and that's more than enough. If a girl has your interest, then go for her. If at the first date, a guy brings flower, could be read as old-fashioned, I guess. Because, maybe in the 1920s they did that. It's creepy today, sorry. Nice, but most of the time will be read as a guy that's rushing, a red flag, someone without other options. Okay? So, illusion of options, you don't have any, you're just desperate to get the next girl, right? Someone that definitely is putting too much in something that should be casual. Casual, that's the word. Casual. Also, your profile picture, I was looking for the word. Dress casual, professional, mix of casual, professional, right? And don't look stupid. And don't say stupid shit about women on your pages. And don't get on panels saying stupid shit about women either. Everything is about the kind of girl, and there are just a few general rules to follow. So I'm not going to say I wouldn't have a first date in the restaurant, but I would have a drink instead. But the main thing, trust me, is about recognizing our value, self. Once that we recognize ourselves as the prize, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're the woman or the man. Recognize yourself as a prize. That can go hand in hand with thinking yourself as ugly. And others need to deserve us. Be always nice anyway. Treat all the ladies equally, the same thing. Oh, no, if you treat these hoes like hoes, it's 304s, and then they're going to want to smash anyway. No, you're stupid. You sound stupid when you talk like that. Yeah. then your behavior will change and your new interest will be becoming the best version of yourself. Being self-oriented is read as fascinating, mysterious, and in general, it's a really positive value. Personal opinion. That's a good opinion. That's a really good opinion. All right, so sorry, I know I ignored you all for a while. I wanted to get through it. Then we got some videos to play, some fun videos to play right now. Phone calls in terms of modern dating seems to be a thing of the past. That's true. That's true, but that's what sets you apart. Okay, remember there's interest, there's a match, right? There's a match already. But since everyone is thinking that text message is the new age wave and stuff like that, at most, say, hey, I'm about to call you in about 2-3 minutes. Pick up the phone, okay? Don't ask for permission if you're a man, okay? This is what you should be expecting as a lady. Now you can text back and forth, but again, like you just see some examples some lady said there, after a while, if he's all he's doing is texting, it's probably not, it probably doesn't have, it's either not matured or is not interested. Maybe you should be the one ghosting too, right? But no, it's okay for the phone to ring and you pick up, especially if it's, listen, I want to hear your beautiful voice. Let me talk to you. I'll call you in about, let me finish this Zoom meeting. I'll call you in about 15 minutes. Why not? Set yourself apart, right? Seems to be a thing of the past, but it's still important in order to really get to know one another before you meet in person for coffee. No, you must have a phone conversation before. Don't just text message. Thank you for pointing that out, Leela. Don't just text message and meet a stranger. That's crazy. No, that's mad. Yeah. Should be a phone conversation at least. For a few minutes at least. Not somebody, if you're a woman or man of society, you can't be sitting on the phone for 3 hours. Some people claim that the conversation can be that good. But there's a good chance that you're giving away too much ammunition and there's no more mystery left. You might just get ghosted before the date happens. Why? Because you're jobless, you're on the phone. Too long. All right. You're so right, Ola. It's very important to create an environment of safety and security when getting to know someone if you want a positive response. Exactly. Buy a dog and die alone. Yeah, that's Kevin Samuels' talk that I'm still in there. He used to say that to the ladies. But we're going to play Kevin Samuels today too. You know, what's going on, Mindrell? What's going on, my brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. That last opinion, yes, it was, right? So let's play a couple of videos. Let me see if I can get this on the screen. All right, so let's look at this one right here.
Mature.
She
I like
can't be
women
stupid.
Well, not too stupid. Goofy a little bit, but not too stupid though. Okay. How to do this camera thing?
Let me go back.
Looking for, honey?
Nah.
What kind of woman you looking for, honey?
Not stupid. Mature.
She
I like
can't be
women
stupid.
She asked him, what kind of woman are you looking for? What did he say? Not stupid. What did I say about always focusing on the things you don't like? You're going to attract all the energy that comes with that thing. Okay? If you focus on the things you don't like, you will attract all the energy that comes with. So he's focused on not attracting a stupid woman. Right? So what energy comes with the thought of a stupid woman? Watch the face of, what's her name? Kendra G, right? Watch her face in reacting to, this is again one of the reasons why I don't like the dating shows. I would never say never, but I don't think I will ever do it. I'm not comfortable with it. Doing a dating show, putting people on the spot and asking them questions, all that kind of stuff. I don't have to do that anyway. I can just talk like I do right now, you know. But let's go back and read that again.
Looking for, honey?
Nah.
What kind of woman you looking for, honey?
Not stupid. Mature.
She
I like
can't be
women
stupid.
Well, not too stupid.
And then she goes, she can't be stupid? What do you mean? Like she can't, it's not okay for someone to be stupid?
Goofy a little bit, but not too stupid though. Okay. How to do this camera thing?
Ooh, child. That's the
What?
Kendra
Yeah, Mom.
Cribs.
Why is he showing around his house that look ratchet like that? Well, it looks like it's somebody that's a little bit off a little bit. So I'll leave him alone.
Doing the Kendra
Yeah,
Crips,
ma.
right? Right. Oh.
Hold on, ma.
Oh. Why would a woman be lucky to be with you, honey?
Cause I'm funny. Hey, have you seen the movie Training Day?
I've seen Training Day, honey.
Okay, all you motherfuckers. Okay, all right. I'm putting the cases on all you bitches. Hey, Kendra, you think you do this shit? You think you can do this to me? All you motherfuckers be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you. Shoe program, nigga.
You know how some people say all you have to do is be funny, right? Okay, there's funny and there's funny. Okay, not this type of funny. Okay, just so you know, you're just gonna be a clown.
24-hour lockdown, Kendra. I know. I mean, are you into 23? Are you into like 23, 24-year-olds? How old are you like 42?
No, I'm not at all.
What you say? What you say? I'm too young?
Well, there's other reasons outside of your age that we would not be compatible.
So you in LA or something? Oh, no, so you live in LA?
I live on Mars.
On Mars?
Yeah.
Your head will explode. Your head will explode. You live on Mars.
It's already exploding.
Really?
I don't want to have a single.
You have a family. You have 3.
I hope they reach the top 20%, but if I happen to be average, I would still like to have a family. I don't want to have a single.
You have a family. You have 3 children, and you're a high school graduate.
Yes, sir.
And you've been reduced to staying at home with your children. And you came on asking questions about women.
What did I say earlier? There's certain type of people that should not be talking about dating. Okay? You don't need to be rich. You just need to be able to take care of yourself. Maybe a couple more other people. Okay? He's 27 with 3 different baby mothers. And he's calling into a whole show. You know how long it takes to call into a whole show? I mean, do you all know what I'm talking about? Like, one of the things I hate the most is sitting behind the studio waiting for someone to bring me on the stage. Not because I hate it, but I don't have time for that. I just don't have time to sit around waiting to talk to a person, right? How do you have time? Do you know how long you have to sit behind the scenes to talk to Kevin Samuels? Just to call in to talk. And you have 3 baby mamas at home? And then he's probably thinking that also that the dating world is hard. Of course it's hard.
You don't need to be doing anything with women. You need to be a monk.
A monk.
Until you get your stuff together. That means some sort of profession. Because honestly, man, you're not living like a man. You're living like a woman. Effectively, you might as well be on government assistance.
Damn.
These are some of the videos of Kevin Samuels that the ladies didn't get to see. They only saw him roasting the women. But he did a ton like this, by the way. So if you ever want to have a balanced view of him, go look for these videos. He was balanced enough for me. Okay.
What's the most you ever made per hour?
19 an hour.
The average woman in this country black woman earns $37,000.
That's minimum wage.
Effectively, you're a woman.
Damn.
I'm not joking, man. I'm not saying this to clown you, but I'm concerned that you came in talking about women and you got 3 mouths to feed.
It's bad.
You can't make any more babies, and you got to get someplace to where you're earning enough money, because are you on state-run child support?
No, sir. I take care of my kids.
I don't think you understand. All they need to do to screw you up is one of those 2 women put you on child support.
That's it.
Taking
You're
care
done.
of them, not. It's a punitive measure.
You're F.
So my point is, you don't need to worry about women. You need to get a profession or 2 and putting in 60 hours a week minimum. You're behind, man. You're really, really, really behind.
So men that worry about women, that's another reason. Men that worry about women at any level will struggle with dating too. Very simple, okay? If worries about women is at the top of your priorities somehow, some way, one shape, form, or the other, yeah, you will struggle with dating. Okay. I don't know if there's a way I can explain that, but yeah. Yeah, because again, remember, people want to be a part of something that's already exciting. And if you have an exciting life, you have an exciting life anyway. Dating is not going to be an issue for you, especially as a man. But if you spend a lot of time talking about women and talking about, especially in negative lights, there's no way in hell you won't struggle. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if it's true that the modern women are terrible. If you spend a lot of time talking about women and you're supposed to be in a dating scene, you will struggle. Buy a dog already and die alone. All right, I got another one here. Let's see.
Me, a dude who was never faithful, almost never, an actor. Look at me, like, you know, I work, and I always got to say this, you know, my wife is a hero in this situation because her last situation, for her to trust me, a dude who was never faithful, almost never, an actor. Look at me, like, you know, I work out and everything. All these are warning signs, big warning signs.
Red flag,
right?
red flag, red flag.
Nothing but red flags. Like, oh, he's probably, you know, narcissistic, it's all in his physique, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's like, for her to go forward, walk that tightrope without the net with this, admittedly, been with a bunch of, you know, a whole lot of women out there, and then trusted me, but it taught me, it said, oh my goodness, and I had to become the man that deserved her.
All right. So another reason why you may be struggling with dating is probably because you don't deserve a companionship yet. Just yet. Okay? Just yet. Okay? You don't deserve it yet. Okay? Now, the other flip side of what he just said, if you know his wife, what's his name? Michael White, something like that. If you know his wife, she is in control of her femininity. Okay, absolutely. She probably just knew what she wanted, and that's all it takes sometimes. Just knowing what you want, instead of worrying about all this red flag, like they said, right? It's probably just somebody like, yeah, I know he's probably has some experience, but I like how I feel around him. I like how he makes me feel. I'm going in all in, right? Engage your feminine power, ladies. You do have power. The list, gotta be careful with the list. Listen, the list, I get it. You gotta protect yourself, but you gotta be careful with that, you know. Especially if you've been carrying a list around for more than 3 years. You gotta be careful with the list. The list is probably the devil now at this point. Okay? So that's another reason for you right there. We're having some reasons, multiple reasons we have today. Somebody should do me a favor. If you're watching this as a replay, go back, take a list of all the lists and put them in the comment for me. Okay? Do me that favor. Yes, Michael Jai White. Thank you. Yep. That's it right there. Let's see. Bhagavat says, why did they not post this kind of videos? For obvious reasons, they're not negative enough. And the people that really made him go viral, it looks like it's you know, in the roasting of the women. So it went more viral. And you know, women, when they feel a certain way, they just overreact and do everything they are. So it is what it is. But no, he actually started roasting men first. I found him after he started roasting women. It was the average at best video that made me know him too, and it rubbed me off the wrong way. But you should watch a little bit, and you watch just like I try to do with every influencer. You watch a little bit, you have a little bit of enough context, and then you can judge. You know, it's clear. It clearly was a divorcee, so that was also part of it. But it was, for a divorcee, it was well balanced, in my opinion. Let's see. Let's find another reason here. Here's another reason.
Chance of a happy marriage after 10 years, it goes from 80%
Did you know if you sleep with more than 5 guys, your chance of a happy marriage after 10 years, it goes from 80% to 25%?
Why?
Because the more men you sleep with, you lose your ability to bond with each one. So if you sleep with 1 guy, you're going to compare the next guy to him. If you sleep with 10 guys, you compare all 10. If you sleep with 20, you compare all 20. You're not likely to be divorced, but you're more likely to leave if you did that.
Okay, so here is another reason why people are struggling. It's not because you slept with too many people. There are 2 things here I'm going to share with you here right now, okay? It's the focus, it's the overly obsession and focus on statistics. There's no way you won't struggle with dating. The statistics get popular for a reason. They are bad. Okay? That's why they got popular. So if you focus on statistics, if all you're looking for, how many people date people and become successful, and how many of them are white, and then some of them are short and ugly, right? If that's what you're focused on, indefinitely buy a dog. Buy a dog right now, okay? And a cat, okay? Some people may tell me, I play this, what's her name again? Just Pearly, something like that, right? She got popular over the last few weeks or so, because a bunch of lame men were hugging up on her and couldn't wait to suck all the juice out of her ass because she was speaking their talking points. Yet none of them will get with this type of chick. Why? Because it doesn't feel right. Feelings. She can regurgitate all the stats all she wants. Has nothing to do with the stats. Are the stats? They're real. They have nothing. Just Pearly things, thank you, to do with each individual's personal experiences. Oh, that's anecdotal. We gotta talk in generalities. No, you're full of shit. We need real life stories to unpack these topics. Okay, so if anytime a woman comes and starts regurgitating a man's talking point, and you're like, oh yeah, she's spitting facts. If that's how you are, you will struggle with dating. Information overload. Thank you so much, Leila. Information overload. You just overload yourself. Information. It will show your energy that you're looking for ways to disqualify the next date. You just be nice. You would disqualify yourself in the process. I'm a fan of Just Pearly. What's her name again? Just Pearly Things. Because she sounds stupid in my opinion. Not the facts. The energy is off. Okay? She doesn't know what the hell she's 25 too, so I'll give her some grace. Alright? But if you're a man and this is what you follow, you're probably a lame type of person. You probably struggle with social skills. You're probably a good debater. You're probably IQ, high intelligence level, but EQ is low, right? Because what? Because it has to be stats, right? And she knows exactly what she's doing. She's really not that stupid. She actually sounds stupid because she's regurgitating this point, but she's not that stupid. She knew that she was going to blow up a channel having this talking point. She knew exactly what she's doing. Repeating all the talking points. All right, so that's another reason for you. Let's go to the next one.
I did actually, so you know, we leave here, we're going back to your place.
Huh?
Are we going?
It's a pleasure meeting you. You're so gorgeous.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yes, it was. Did you enjoy your drink?
I did actually, so you know, we leave here, we're going back to your place.
Huh?
Are we going back to your place?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if you want to.
if I want to.
Yeah.
All right, so let's unpack that. No, let me finish playing it. Okay. He said, are we going back to your place? I mean, if you want to, right? All right, let's keep going. Let's go.
Of course I want to. So that wasn't your intention.
I mean, I'm a gentleman, so, you know, I wasn't going to just try to, you know.
I just want to show you my mama made a hoe. That's all.
Did you hear what she just said? Let's
My mama,
My mama made a hoe.
she made a hoe.
She made a hoe.
Okay.
He said, okay. Now, this is probably a skit. Okay, this is probably not real. Okay, but let's keep going.
I want to fuck.
Okay. We can definitely
Arrange that.
yeah.
All right, so all of this is abnormal. Okay, this guy probably thought he went on a date. There are a lot of guys like this. They go on a date, they have all of these different standards. They hold themselves, their feet to the fire. I'm a good guy. But when somebody throws the pussy in front of them, it's like they're discombobulated. They don't know what to do with it, right? This goes back to lack of game. Okay? The girl that's doing this, that's talking a lot, and you're responding, all you should ever be saying is, what do you mean? My mama made a hope. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Explain that. What do you mean by your mama made a 304? He's thrown off. Instead of him leading the conversation and throwing out completely off, he's completely thrown off. He probably never believed ever that anybody would throw it at him like that. So now we know that it's unrealistic for somebody who seems to be well dressed to throw that at you like that and just want to get down, DTF, right? All right, so she's throwing some kind of curveball for you. It's not normal. Most normal human beings, women, will not throw you. They won't be talking about it. They will be all over you at best. Maybe they'll be all over you, kissing on you, right? You're not gonna be like whoa too, right? But you'll be like, wait, let's keep it cool, right? But she's talking and she's saying strange things. She's saying strange things. You need to say, what do you mean? Allow her to explain herself. Make her explain herself. Okay? But just look at the way he's reacting to it. Okay? What y'all doing after this? What are you doing after this? It's awkward. It's just all awkward. Okay? So, a lot of these men that will listen to just pearly things, and so, yeah, she's holding this woman accountable for body count. When they throw it at them like this, they don't know what to do. Or they go all in and act stupid and basically become reckless and get their money stolen in Brazil. If not their whole life. I'm throwing shots. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, we can definitely.
Okay.
All right, so there's another one right there. They don't know what to do with it. They're not prepared. They don't. Just say, what do you mean? If somebody throws something like that at you and it's kind of weird and stuff. Now, Lila says she's bold. She's bold as F. That's not bold. That's weird. Okay? Because there are some kind of chicks that talk like that. You would already know. You would know that you picked up a 304, right? It wouldn't be a surprise. But the fact that, we had a good time and suddenly she just woke up out of nowhere and started to be bold, something is weird. Something weird is going on. Yes, I am shading the passport. Let's see.
Status you have, you must prepare for that day that she leave you. One of the realest things I ever heard is always prepare for women to leave you. I don't care how much money, clout, or status you have, you must prepare for that day that she leave you. One of the realest things I ever heard is she's not your girl, she's just your turn. You must understand that women are controlled by their emotions. Y'all could be chilling, vibing, having a good time. A thought could come across her mind that ain't got nothing to do with you, and all of a sudden she got an attitude, or now she in her feelings. Your girl could be the happiest woman on the planet in one moment, and then wake up the next day and decide she don't want none of this no more. Every situationship or relationship has an expiration date, so you better be ready for it.
All right, so I don't know this dude at all, but if I were to guess, if I was to bet my whole monthly livelihood on it, right? He's lame, okay? He comes up sounding very smart. He didn't say, like, no lies detected. There are many of them like that. No lies detected, right? But the energy is off. Something is wrong. He doesn't believe what the hell he's talking about. I'm going to play it one more time, okay? He does not believe what he's talking about. He actually doesn't know what he's talking about. Look at his first statement. This is how we're going to handle it tonight, okay? Because we've done a good job today, okay? If you want me to cover more topics like this as time goes on, let me know in the comments. Replay gang, let me know.
Always prepare for women to leave you.
Always prepare for women to leave you, okay? You're going into a romantic relationship. Is it natural that what you're preparing for is that she'll leave you? Does that make sense? Isn't that like the very last thing on your mind? Now, once you start thinking that, don't you think your energy will basically follow that same path? Don't you think you will self-sabotage that situation even if it's good? Now, if it's really good, don't you think the last thing you'll be thinking about, because you're feeling so good, is that they will leave you? So, unrealistic at best, unrealistic expectations of yourself that you're able to prepare for a woman to leave you. It doesn't make any sense. But again, he sounds so confident, like he knows what he's talking about, right? And there are many of them on this YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram streets.
I don't care how much money, clout, or status you have, you must prepare for that day that she leave you.
You must prepare for that day that she leaves you. If you're already prepared and you know for a fact, and one day she's just gonna leave you, what kind of energy do you think you're gonna bring into that relationship? Considering that you're a real human being like the rest of us. What kind of energy would you bring in if you're leading with fear? Oh no, it's not fear, you're just preparing.
Stop the cap.
One of the realest things I ever heard is, she's not your girl, she's just your turn. You must understand.
That's something stupid that high school kids say. She's not your girl, it's just your turn. It sounds good, right? So how do you handle that? How do you treat a lady like a lady if that's your mindset, right? Could that be the reality? Yes, it could be the reality. What I'm saying is that knowing us as human beings, that's not how we move. We want the human experience. We want to fall on our face sometimes. We want to be disappointed sometimes. That's how you build character. That's how you build yourself up. That's how you build yourself so you can attract better for the future. That don't mean you should walk around town preparing for worst case scenario. Actually, it's not preparing. That's cap. You're assuming worst case scenario. And that's what lame ass men do. They assume worst case scenario 100% of the time. All you should, now, I do say something, you should prepare for worst case scenario, okay? But you should always assume best case scenario, right? See how that smile came on my face when I said that, right? But the way these sentences are structured are just wrong in every aspect of way you can think about it, right? And I'm speaking more so from a mindset standpoint. If this is your mindset, never mind if it's factual or not. If this is your mindset, you cannot create good relationships. You're human like the rest of us. It will show in your energy. It will just show. Let me watch. Let me see if she's making a move there. Prepare for the day she leaves you. What, you trying to leave me? You trying to leave me, motherfucker? Right? Weirdy.
Understand that women are controlled by their emotions. Y'all could be chilling, vibing, having a good time. A thought could come across her mind that ain't got nothing to do with you, and all of a sudden she got an attitude.
That's overthinking. Is what he's saying real? Yes, but it just doesn't. He's saying it like it just comes out of nowhere. Women are not mad crazy. There's usually a source. It's not women that are complete. You're generalizing like all women, like it doesn't matter, right? No, there are reasons behind the scenes why, if you offended her in the past and she's not a little bit moody and offended, yes. Is that the reason to prepare for the day she leaves you? Dude, just leave right now if that's how you're going to think. Because nothing good is going to come out of that mindset.
Or now she in her feelings. Your girl could be the happiest woman on the planet in one moment and then wake up the next day and decide she don't want none of this no more. Every situationship or relationship has a...
This guy, there's no way he's married. I doubt it. I can bet everything on it. Okay. If he goes out on a date right now, do you think he can be normal? Do you think he can be normal to get to know a girl? Or do you think he's going to be there and be talking like this all the time? Like he thinks it's in front of a camera. Can he just relax and drink some water, eat some ribs, and get to know a girl? Do you think it's possible? The energy you're looking at, okay, all that you're tapping, he's just recording the video. Okay, like I said, I'm not making this an absolute truth. I don't know. I'm just saying if I were to bet on it, I can read. That's all I'm saying.
Expiration date. So you better be ready for it.
All right. We're going to call it a day. Let me see what Layla said. Layla, shout out to you for hanging out so much. Well, now you can see why dating these days is so difficult. I told you from the beginning. I know. It's tough. People who possess such a mentality and they didn't even give the relationship a real chance yet. Exactly. But we're working. We're going to do the work. Trust me, there are gentlemen listening to this and they're learning. Okay? It took me a while, but we're getting to them. They're starting to understand what I'm trying to say. I'm on their side more so than themselves, and they will get it, So once they are being prepared and they're getting ready and they're coming out, you also, as a lady, you want to make sure you're prepared. You want to make sure you're well prepared for these success stories, because they'll be looking for feminine, inspirational, right? Fit, feminine, beautiful, and inspirational FBI, whatever, man. But you get the gist, right? Bottom line today is that 80-90% of the work needs to go into yourself. Okay? A solid, maybe another 20% is going to your social skills. Social skills get out there from a standpoint of your professional world. Start with your company events, don't miss them. Industry event, don't miss them. Get to know people. Okay? Get to know people. Shock them. FFF, fit, feminine, and friendly. Thank you, Bhagavat. You've been paying attention to Kevin Samuels way too much. Right? See, they cram so many words and everybody's hanging out, not getting hooked up. No, I need you to get hooked up and lose all the words. Okay? Drink some water, take a shower, get to know people, relax, drink some wine, get to know people, right? Like, the simple things in life matters more than like the simple things matter more, So if you're going to do anything that's proactive, which I do think if you're a woman or man of a certain age, you should be proactive. I do think that it's just, again, in what direction, with some guide. Be guided with that, right? Get to some events, industry events, pick up some hobbies, right? And while you're doing that, there's an active marketplace. There are beautiful people all around you, right? Give them a chance. Give yourself a chance. Get to know people. What's your name is all it starts with. Have a conversation. Hey, I'd like to take you out on a date. Ladies, we're not there yet. Maybe another 50 years. Don't toast. Most of you don't need to be toasting. If you feel like there's nothing wrong, there's a good chance you should be toasting. Majority of you, don't toast a guy, but you can give him a little compliment, right? If there's a match there, he will take the bait. When you do it, try your best. Be intentional about this part. Don't be so attached to the outcome. Okay? Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey. I know it's tough. It's difficult, especially if the older you get, it just gets more tough because it keeps all the bad memories keeps coming into your brain naturally, right? But you need to build some good memories. The expectation thing, the outcome, attachment to outcome thing is a real killer of the process, right? Enjoy the process. Enjoy getting to know people, right? I don't want to tell you, assume that anybody is not the right person. Just know them because they're just a beautiful person, right? That attitude alone will become an attractive thing to the right person. Just the fact that you have no expectations, you're not pressurizing anybody, you're just getting to know people, right? Gentlemen, what's your name? If she doesn't ask about your name and ask you any further question, there's a good chance she's not interested. But don't just stop right there either, What's your name? Ask some other question. If you after 2 or 3 questions she's not moving, it's okay. It's not that deep. There are other ladies in the room. Probably don't spend too long around the wrong people because you will end up spending too long away from the right people. All right. So if you want more of this, if you really enjoyed it and you think we should do more of it, Replay Gang rebroadcast gang, let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know. There's more. There's so much more we can talk about, which is especially like case studies and real life case studies. One thing I'm learning is that I can't bring too much to the table, because we end up spending. This wasn't too long, too, right? How long have we been here? Oh yeah, this was long. This was long. This was longer than I thought. But yes, it's okay. It's good. It's good stuff. Share it with your friends, people will, and ask questions. Ask questions. Go to my Instagram page and direct message me if you have specific questions that has to do with you. And like I said, the book, like I said, marriage, dating, coaching, it's the same shit. Don't let anybody tell you that they're different. It's the same thing. Same thing. That's one of the ways we complicate things. Oh yeah, but it's different. No, you have to stay on, you have to, even more so when you're in marriage, right? Because it gets boring quicker if you're oblivious, if you're completely disconnected from that idea. You think about, but this is marriage, you're supposed to be duty and responsible. No, it's not. In reality, it's not. People have options. They have real life options. They can leave your ass and then regret it later. They will still dump you. Right? So if that's not what you want, then it's not that much of. I'm just saying, learn how to have a good time too. Have some soft life and bring your partner along as you're doing it. Have a good time. Don't normalize that marriage is supposed to be this. You're not supposed to be happy. No, it's bullshit. Okay, I'm pushing hard against that. We need all of it. We need, yes, duty, responsibility becomes a lot more easier when people are happy. It gets harder when they're not happy. It even gets even harder when they're denying themselves of the idea of happiness as a real life thing. We all want to be happy. But I get it. The talking points, they sound sweeter, but no, it's bullshit. All of us want to be happy. Okay, so if you could create the environment for your partner to be happy, there's nothing wrong with that. You'll benefit from it. You're sowing seeds, right? Oh no, but you don't owe each other happiness. Yeah, okay, we know that already. We already know that. Okay, Atigbo, don't kill yourself. Relax. Okay, it's okay to set the tone that will make your partner happy. You will enjoy it too. Right? But that behavior starts now as a single person. Do people have a good time? Do they feel good being around you? Starting from smelling good at all times. Smell good. I smell like $1,000,000, right? Invest in some colognes, perfumes, and stuff like that. Invest in that. Because all the glands that goes off when people smell good, like you can't afford to not pay attention to things like that, right? And you feel good too. And you feel good. More importantly, you feel good about yourself, So that's all I have for you today. If you're interested, go download the book. It's free, But if you really want to support, you can get the Kindle, you can get the paperback, You can also go download the audiobook. You heard what we missed Chinye today. You heard what she was saying about the audiobook. It's a decent audiobook, that will put some work into, both of us, we did it together. So go pick that up. You will learn a lot about not just marriage, but dating, relationship, marriage, even relationships beyond that, like in-law relationships. It's the same formula. The only difference is that one has sex, the others don't have sex. It's the same thing, okay? All right? People want to be around you if it feels good to be around you. That's really the bottom line. We call it different names: attraction, seduction, all this. But if you know how to orchestrate it, if you know how to design it, we call it seduction. And no one talks about that. Everyone wants to talk about duty and responsibility at community level. And they don't even know how to build a small relationship. It's cap. All right? So hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.